Poisonrana.
First time in a long time, but back like I never left. Taking these things as it comes, you know me, I don't read ahead. Watch me burn down everything, BDE on the TV set. When I'm in control on the road, you can never really know what's up next.
Hello, Braden Herrington here with not my British Canadian normal tag team partner, but making a hot tag yet again to my country and my province, even my city of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I'm joined by post wrestling reporter, writer Jack Wannan. What's going on, my friend Jack?
Braden, how's it going? It's been a long time. It's been way too long, but how's the song go? Back like I never left, right?
Back like you never left, Jack. I appreciate you jumping in here. Davie is currently waiting to go in to see Oasis today, right now, at Wembley Stadium. So, Davie, have fun at that and live forever. But, Jack, appreciate you joining me here at Post Wrestling. You've been killing it at postwrestling.com. Got to shout you out off the top. I was setting you up to do this show, and you were saying that you were doing some stuff for the New Japan G1. What's going on over there? What were you doing?
Yeah, I was just watching this morning's block action real quick. I'm still keeping my fingers crossed that Yoshihashi can keep his current run alive. He's still tied for first place in the B block. I have a feeling that that fun's going to end pretty soon, but I'm just living in the moment, trying to enjoy that while I have it, you know?
Of course. You got to live in the moment, Jack. Always live in the moment by watching Japanese wrestling at odd hours of the day. Are you watching? Do you watch live? Do you cherry pick? Do you watch?
Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
There's no way I could watch live. I had an era a few years ago where I was like getting up at like 6 a.m. every morning, and like even then I was never catching these shows live. It's just I mean, when you're in the Eastern time zone, like you got to be mad to be doing that, in my opinion. But
some people
to people who do it, like to people who do it, like I totally respect that. But like I think that even being on like the West Coast is like way better because you can watch like a show in Japan and like that's a late night for you, you know?
Yeah, it's funny being a wrestling fan, and then like obviously we have friends, especially in this post wrestling community, all over the place, and watching wrestling at weird hours. Like I always go back to that the UK tournament they did with WWE like maybe around like 10 years ago now. I don't know how long Trent. Who are all the other guys in there? The British guys, the tournament that they did. And I remember watching that live to feel what it would be like for all these Brits all over the years who have to stay up to the godly hours to watch wrestling. But I try to do it for Wrestle
King. So much respect for British fans who follow the American product, because there's just, if it was the other way around, I'd be doing something else, to be honest with you.
It's tough because then like you try to watch it the next morning, but I don't know, people have jobs and like trying to not be spoiled would be annoying. Yeah. Chris Jones in the chat saying Tyler Bate. Yeah, that's who I was talking. Tyler Bate, Trent, Pete Dunne, all the people that have been used greatly over the last 10 years in WWE. But I respect people who watch wrestling at all hours of the day. There's no right time or wrong time to watch wrestling.
I'll say this. I watched Wrestle Kingdom live once, and once is good enough for me. After that, my body was feeling it. It's like, you know what? I'm good.
Well, right now, maybe some listeners are appreciating this time zone change because it's 11 a.m. Eastern time, and we're doing up next. We're going to talk about some NXT. It's a bit of a format change. Yes. Appreciate you. We usually, when we do these morning afternoon shows, it's brunch with the BDE, but the other half of the BDE is in here. So is it brunch with the BJ? Is that what this is? I'm not quite sure, but nothing quite beats a BJ for brunch. So welcome to Up Next, everybody, because it's 11 a.m. Maybe you're watching, maybe it's a better time wherever you are. We will be back to regular scheduled programming. Davie will return with me next Tuesday. Catch us for up next, live right after NXT. And I think Davie and I will also maybe go through some SummerSlam stuff because it is this weekend. And Jack, are you excited for SummerSlam? Are you a Jelly Roll fan?
I am not a Jelly Roll fan, unfortunately.
Not
I
a
could
Jelly?
not name one song of his. He's one of those guys where, like, I don't doubt that he's a celebrity, but he just doesn't appear in, like, the circles that I watch, if that makes sense. Do you know Jelly Roll songs?
Like, I only knew of him through WWE, but then as soon as I saw him appear or referenced or something, I started seeing him on all
Everywhere,
these
right?
other things. Like in the last year, I've seen him, you know, he's been on TV appearances and I don't know, Kimmel he was filling in for. Like, it just seems like he's like all over the place. I'm not saying he's an industry plant, but it definitely fits the bill of like, hey, let's get this guy on everything. So God works hard, but Jelly Roll's promo team, they work a whole lot harder because they have completely made this guy almost seem like everyone knows who he is. So pretty
Yeah,
crazy.
he's not like Bad Bunny, where it's like when he showed up in WWE, I was like, isn't he like too big for WWE? Like,
see, that's you thinking that. That's funny you say that because you're a what, Gen Z?
Gen Z, yeah.
Gen Z, and like Bad Bunny was super famous to the kids, to the culture. But a lot of people, you may be around my age or older when that happened, were like, who the fuck or what the fuck is a Bad Bunny? But it's kind of, I think he's gained a lot of people's respect now. I think arguably maybe the best celebrity, like, you know, wrestler kind of thing.
The question for SummerSlam this weekend, it's funny, like, I'm not a Jelly Roll fan, but I do have this like genuine curiosity of just like, how is he going to do here? Because I read these stories about him spending a lot of time in the Performance Center and like legitimately training for this match for weeks, and that, you know, that gets my expectations high, and I just wonder how's he going to do in this this tag match.
Yeah, especially I remember he hit a really nice choke slam, like whenever the black hole slam I saw, maybe not so nice, but the choke slam from like a year ago. Yeah, I understand the celebrity involvement, and you know what, Jelly Roll I guess is pretty popular. I couldn't name you a Jelly Roll song, but there was a point where I was like, I was on a bike ride. And I was like, okay, let me put something new on. So I was like, fuck, I never listened to Jelly Roll. So I did.
You went for Jelly Roll?
It was fine. I changed it after a few songs, but you know, country music is super hot right now. I understand, but
I've been told that Jelly Roll fits into the category of coworker music. Do you know what that is?
No, please explain.
Coworker music, it's like music that your coworker recommends you, but outside that context you would never hear about.
Yeah, that's actually like WWE telling me, "Hey, you should listen to this," and then I do. I'm like, "Oh, I don't know about that." So, like, as much as I like country and everything, like, I don't think he's bad by any means. Like, again, I know he was opening for like Post Malone doing stadium tours and stuff.
Oh yeah,
so like he is a big deal. Don't get me wrong, but bless Jelly Roll, and I'm excited to. I'm really not excited about SummerSlam. Actually, I'm trying to like trick myself into being like, yeah, SummerSlam. Like the last few years, we've gone to a few of them. Davie went last year. We did a watch party. We're not even doing a watch party. There is interest in it, but just out of like scheduling and work and stuff, we're not doing any watch parties in Toronto. If you are a Toronto listener and you're wondering, hey, what's going on? We'll be doing something for Forbidden Door and for All Out. Hopefully, stay tuned to this program for future announcements. But where is your excitement? Have you been following? Like, do you watch everything on a week-to-week basis? NXT, AEW, and I guess with WWE leading into SummerSlam this weekend, is there excitement from you?
Yeah, I'm watching everything right now, and like I guess my excitement level is kind of in the middle. I mean, I kind of get a read of how you're feeling about it, and I kind of feel the same. Like, there's stuff here that I'm really interested for. I thought that the go home segment for Gunther and CM Punk on Monday was great, and that really helped my interest level for that match. There's stuff here and there that, you know, I want to see. That tag match, like I said, I'm interested in. Dominic Mysterio and AJ Styles, I'm interested to see how that goes.
Yeah, you mean the biggest baby face, Dom? You mean like I've seen the clips of him in AAA, and it seems like he's just like Jesus
over as hell.
There. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's awesome.
Like I think we have both nights, right? Like we have two nights, and they've announced which matches are for like which night. So Maybe quickly, we'll go through each match and give like a little preview prediction, and you can give your 2 cents, because I'm seeing, according to Wikipedia, which of course is always telling me everything factual. Night 1, Sami Zayn taking on Karrion Kross. Now, forgive me if I'm incorrect, but is the stipulation that if they lose, they have to like admit the other guy was right?
Yeah. This is like a toned down version of when Shingo Takagi and El Phantasmo did the whoever loses has to say the other one is their daddy.
Oh my God. Yeah, essentially. Or like a code of honor, shake the hand afterwards kind of
Yeah,
thing.
the stakes are that there's pride on the line, which is in every single match, but whatever.
Like, I'm seeing the Karrion Kross love online, but he still hasn't done anything necessarily that has proved that like he should be necessarily a bigger act at where he is. That I mean, there's always room for improvement and evolving and stuff, but like from watching him before NXT, through his NXT run, then being gone from WWE and coming back. And then I did check out the match with Sami, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? And it didn't necessarily hit for me. So I can't say I'm super excited to see a rematch, but if you can't have a good match with Sami Zayn, like what are we doing here?
Well, there was all this interest leading into Night of Champions when he got a spot on that show, because it was like, okay, here we go. Karrion's finally getting a spotlight. And the match wasn't bad, but it was just kind of there. So that kind of hurt my interest. And this feud has been stretched out for a while now, and I'm not really interested to see how this match goes.
It's almost like they don't know what to do with Sami right now, because obviously there's too many cooks in the main kind of picture. But you could always go back to try to heat him up for the underdog kind of situation. I don't know if 2025 will be Sami Zayn's year to win a world title, but I still have hope. But I can't say this match is like.
They got to get going pretty soon if he's going to win a title in 2025.
No, I don't think it will in 2025. I think that maybe has already sailed. What about Judgment Day? Raquel and Roxanne taking on Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss for the tag titles. What's going on here? Charlotte and Alexa not facing one-on-one, as some people may have thought that they were going. But yeah, tag team match. What do you think about this? Are you excited for women's tag team titles?
I don't know if excited is the word. I'm not against this match.
Yeah.
This is one of those matches where it's like, I don't hate it, but like if you were to make SummerSlam a one night, this would have been cut, That's
totally fair. I think Alexa still has the star power since coming back. Charlotte, I think maybe since that article has come out, or maybe even some of this Unreal, which we can maybe talk about briefly in a sec, maybe it's kind of helped her and baby-faced her in a way where you could do good with the WWE women's tag titles. And I think we keep seeing them try and then lose faith and then try and lose faith. So I don't know. I'm hoping we actually get a really good match out of this, because
I will say that it was the right choice to not split Bliss and Flair.
Yeah.
Because there's just more there, It would have been too soon.
We mentioned it. Jelly Roll and Randy Orton versus Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre? ? Not official yet, but you know what would make this match even worse? If The Miz were to have sent threatening promo videos on social media saying, hey, I'll be in the match instead of Drew. I live in the US. So potentially Logan Paul and The Miz versus Randy Orton and Jelly Roll for SummerSlam here. Drew McIntyre definitely is like, oh, guys, I lost my passport. Shucks, I can't make it for this SummerSlam. I'm so sorry. You're gonna have to slam without me. Drew definitely lying about that passport, right?
He was told to finish to the match and went, you know what?
It's not gonna work for me, brother.
I just dropped my passport in the lake, man. I'm sorry.
Damn. Don't you hate when that happens? I know all about misplacing passports, especially when it comes down to it. But Drew McIntyre stuck in the UK, maybe for longer than he was hoping for. So I just think it's funny that this is kind of a thing that's happening. I was loving the promos from Drew actually on his phone. I just think Drew had such a good year that I feel like this is such a mid-card story to use him in, but I'm not quite sure what we do with Drew going forward. I've been loving some of the stuff this guy's been doing on his social media. I think he's one of the most vicious insult slinger. Like the stuff he was saying about Jelly Roll was pretty funny. He's referring to him, calling him a cow, and then some of the stuff he was going off about. I I just think he's been killing it in this role of just being an absolute dickhead. What I saw an interview of him on, was it with Logan Paul, where he's just shitting on all the wrestlers. Like, look at all these other wrestlers and look at me. Like, come on. And I'm like, dude, you're not wrong. Drew is one of the most jacked and largest dudes going. So I think me and you don't sound too excited about Jelly Roll, but I think this could surprise us. So I'm hoping, like, if we go in with no expectations, then there's a possibility that it's actually good. So
I mean, the story here is not interesting at all, but I mean, how Jelly Roll performs, I'm actually very interested, because the bar is so high these days for celebrities. It's not like the guest general manager days where a celebrity can do a match where he tags in and does one spot. I mean, everyone's going to be looking to see how Jelly Roll does.
I feel like we need Jelly Roll to hit the RKO at one point with Randy Orton. So we shall see.
That would be cool.
We see some people in the chat saying it's a work with Drew McIntyre. Sure, it gets more interest for this match. A lot more interest if this was the case, more than the Jimmy Kimmel appearance, that Jelly Roll and Logan Paul and all that. Like, I'm not against celebrity involvement whatsoever. I'm just this Jelly Roll guy is definitely. It says, like, I didn't know about you until now, and I can't stop hearing about you. And it's like that one song. I can't even name one of his songs, but that one song you keep hearing no matter where you go. You go to the grocery store, they're playing the song. You listen to the radio in the car, you hear the song. It's like, just stop. I don't even want to know if I like it. I just don't like it because it's already too overplayed. So we're going with Jelly Roll hitting the RKO for the 1, 2, 3. That's what we're going for. Yeah. We also have Tiffany Stratton taking on Jade Cargill for the WWE Women's Championship. This one's interesting because I think maybe the stuff going on with Naomi, obviously with the briefcase and then cashing in, you would assume we would lead towards this another blow-off match with Jade and Naomi, but instead they're going this direction from winning Queen of the Ring. So I haven't necessarily loved what Jade's done since coming into like WWE, but this is an interesting one. Yeah,
it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. I actually do like that they did this direction, putting Jade in this instead of going back to the well with Naomi. You got to put people in different directions, and I think WWE has a tendency of just do a rivalry over and over again. And so I don't know how this. I'm not too interested in this match, but maybe it can surprise me.
I'm hoping it can. Yeah, I don't necessarily see Tiffany losing the title just yet either, but maybe Naomi costing her. Or
I mean, I don't see her losing the title, but I also don't necessarily think that her run's been that incredible. So like at SummerSlam, could they make her drop the belt? I mean, why not?
Yeah, could be Tiffy time, but she'll win it back another time if that's the case. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso versus Braun and Braun, the Brawnies, the shoe stealers here, the thugs. Yeah. This is cool to have Roman come back. Obviously, the star power there with teaming with Jey Uso. I'm hoping we can get a fun match out of this one and maybe leading into some shenanigans with Bronson and Seth, maybe potentially leading into what happens at the end of the show. What do you think?
Shenanigans is the key word here. I mean, it's less about like who's gonna win and more like what's gonna happen storyline wise. What are we gonna get run in wise? I don't know what to expect in this match. I hope that Bronson Reed comes out with the shoes that he took from Roman Reigns on Monday Night Raw. That would be some good continuity.
Yeah. Does he fit in them? I don't know if he would wear the same size.
Oh, I don't. There's no way he. No,
should sell them. They are the Roman ones.
Like, tie them together and like wrap them around his neck and like wear them like a.
Yeah, you know how like in certain you're from Scarborough. You know how sometimes you see in different intersections of the shoes tied over the phone poles. You know what that means. So we should see that in the entrance. Just throw it over the ring ropes. Saying
I'm gonna be looking for that.
Yeah, exactly. I like the fact. Are these shoes even available yet? I think it's pretty cool that we're getting the Roman ones. Like they're coming out with the Roman Jordans or something like that, right?
Is that what he was wearing on Monday?
Is that what he stole from him? And maybe I was unclear on that, but
I'm not sure. I saw they were nice shoes. But
they were very nice. Yeah, they were very.
One of my friends was like, he should have thrown them into the crowd. I was like, no, those are nice shoes, man. You don't throw those.
Too expensive.
That's not a freebie. Yeah.
Yeah, way too expensive. You sell those. I keep seeing the shoe stores on Queen Street with the shoes are too expensive when they like vacuum seal them. Like
yeah.
Someone in the chat, Jamie, saying they were Union Jordans. I'm not necessarily a shoe guy, so I can't comment, but I'm going to believe you, and I'll believe anything anyone says about these shoes. And the main event, yeah,
fresh shoes.
I believe they got some nice shoes. I believe they were some fire expensive shoes for sure. Now they're Bronsons. The main event, I think, makes sense to me. Would be the main event. The World Heavyweight Champion Gunther defending against CM Punk for night 1. Do we see a Seth Rollins cash in here during this match, potentially?
Wouldn't surprise me. I mean, if you want to have a big shock on the first night, you're going to have Seth cash in, right?
Yeah. Like it would make some buzz, especially for night 1. If night 1's kind of both have some stuff in the show that definitely interest levels, but I think Gunther Punk is one of the big matches. Like that was supposed to be, one of the Mania matches. I think this is the big one for me for this whole weekend. This should be a solid match, hopefully.
Without a cash in, would you still consider this match has the potential to make night 1 look big?
I don't think it needs it to make it big. I think just having Punk win the title, but it kind of sucks. Gunther's had a funny year, right? From wrestling Pat McAfee and Goldberg, and then tapping out to Jay, and then now winning the title back, but then facing CM Punk. I do kind of think this would have been the huge WrestleMania match, and I know around WrestleMania when they were doing the international tours, these two worked a whole lot together on the house shows that they did, including cage matches and stuff. So I'm definitely interested in seeing the match itself. This is the one I think from the whole weekend that I'm like, man, been waiting to see these two chop it up, literally. So I'm hoping we get something good. And I do think whether if it's something like Punk winning, Punk being screwed by the Seth Riders or whatever. So there's potential for some shenanigans, word of the day, because I do kind of think you should just give it to Punk. But then again, like I said, Gunther is just, it's been a little wishy-washy, so I'm not quite sure, unless there is still the Seth involvement. I'll
say that even though Gunther's had a weird year in terms of his rivalries and bookings, he's really made the most of it. And, he's had a pretty strong year despite some of his, rivalries and stuff like that. And, no matter who wins here, I have pretty high expectations that this could be another great performance. Gunther can get a great performance out of anyone. And, CM Punk has had some solid showings since showing up to WWE. So,
yeah,
I wouldn't mind if this was just a win for Punk, clean.
Yeah.
I think that you will go back to that discussion of are you not booking Gunther the right way, having him lose on another big show if he loses this match? I mean, you still hear the "you tapped out" chants on Raw when he's in the ring, but at the same time, they've been holding off that moment, that big moment for Punk to win a title for 2 years now. And I guess the question is, are you going to use it on this show, or are you still going to wait a little longer? And how much longer can you wait? How much longer, do you want to preserve that?
Yeah, it just seems like they want to eventually go back to the Punk Seth thing. They keep being brought back to each other. And obviously Seth with this group, I feel like it hasn't clicked maybe the way I thought it was, but I think eventually when it all works out, you can go to, Paul Heyman and Braun Breaker versus Seth down the line and everything. But I still think they're gravitating towards the Seth Punks, or going back to that eventually. One day will be somewhat of a story. But yeah, I don't know if you're geeking Gunther out if Punk were to just beat him, but I kind of man, let's just go with Punk now. We moved away from Jay. Let's just do what I watched Unreal. I watched the first two episodes. Just do what you were going to do. WrestleMania, give Punk the belt, and then see what we can do. The summer of Punk.
And you still have that story that Punk. I mean, I don't think giving him a title now takes away from the fact that he has yet to have his WrestleMania moment. I mean, you can still go to that at Mania. You know, he doesn't even have to go into Mania as champ. You know, this is SummerSlam is so far out from that. So yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing him win the title here, and having a big title change in what's likely the main event of night one would be great.
Yeah, I'm just hoping for a good match. Honestly, I'm hope it's better than Gunther versus Goldberg. Night 2, quickly go through this. The 6-pack TLC match. Okay, this got added. They basically were like, fuck it, put the whole tag team roster into this match.
This is basically how they've booked the tag roster for the past like 6 months. It's just like, just put them all in a match together and we'll just go from there.
So I'm not even mad about it. Okay, these were my favorite matches back in the day. So this is going to be the last one they did on SmackDown around WrestleMania weekend was unbelievable. So I'm definitely looking forward to this. We got the Wyatt Six, Andrade and Rey Fenix, DIY, Fraxium, Machine Guns, and the Street Profits. Like I can't even say who's going to win this one, but all I know is there's going to be some nutso stuff. There's going to be some crazy spots. Rey Fenix in a ladder match again. There's always going to be some crazy stuff. So if you had to pick a team, who would you go with?
I mean, I would assume that since this is like the first real push, if you want to call it that the Wyatt Six have gotten, you want to extend it a little more. I mean, the group really hasn't gotten anything significant since they first came around. And I think taking the belts off them now would kind of not be a vote of confidence for them, I would say.
Yeah.
So I would like to see them win this. But at the same time, like, you know, I really don't know. Like, it could go to someone else here. I'm just hoping this is going to be a good match. And I think it'll probably be one of those, you know, fun spot festy type things you can just throw on the card to bring the crowd energy back up.
Yeah, it'll definitely have the spots and the holy shit moments. Definitely. I'd say I'd go with the Street Profits too, simply because they won the last TLC one. You could add that to their like, oh, we did it again. But I think back to the day of the TLC matches and the times they'd throw these kinds of matches together, the titles would flip-flop back and forth a whole lot. So I think I'm okay if some other team were to win it, and then the story is Street Profits got to get it back somehow, some way. But this is some of the most people in one of these matches, though, right? Like if this is a 6-team, that's a lot of people in one ladder match. So it's going to be pretty hectic, but definitely looking forward to that.
Chris Jones in the comments says that could hurt the match, and you know I think that is something to look out for. That, you know, it's too many cooks in the kitchen could really spoil this possibly. But you know, I'm hoping that they'll plan this in a way so that people stay out of each other's way and it works out well.
It's kind of like a WWE 2K video game kind of match here. It's like you just picked everyone in this thing. And oh wait, Machine Guns, Rey Fenix, Andrade, sure, why not? Dexter Lumis, Joe Gacy, fuck it. Shout out Joe Gacy, Jack Joe Gacy now. Never forget his theme song in NXT was a banger. We also have Dominic Mysterio, AJ Styles for the Intercontinental Championship. What's happening here? Are the people gonna get behind Dom like they do in AAA?
I see Dom keeping it here. I mean, I saw a lot of people saying that AJ's gonna win, but personally, I just think that Dom has a lot of momentum right now, and I would prefer to see him keep it going.
I kind of agree. Like, I like AJ getting his almost like, hey, I'm gonna retire soon, and he's getting his flowers a little bit in the last little while. Obviously, the injury aside, but I kind of don't want him to win because I like what they're doing with Dominic. And when that big babyface run eventually happens in WWE, I think it's going to be pretty good. But again, I just love watching the stuff, seeing him in AAA. He's treated, I mean, he's the prince of Lucha. He's the royalty. He's Rey Mysterio's kid. So, like, of course they're going to cheer this guy or boo this guy. But
I mean, anyone who says that AJ should win this as part of his like get his flowers thing, I mean, it's the Intercontinental title. Like, come on, like, this is a TV title. Like, this isn't some big win for him.
No, I don't think that. But I'm hoping we get a decent match out of Dirty Dom from this one. We have a steel cage match for the U.S. title. Solo Sikoa defending against Jacob Fatu. The Bloodline 2.0 implodes. What do you see here?
Jeez, I'm not really interested in this match, to be honest with you. It feels like they should have moved on from Sikoa versus Fatu after, you know, kind of getting past this already.
Agree.
I mean, are they going to flip flop and put the belt back on Fatu? I'm not really sure.
I would. Yeah, I would. We're going to get one of these guys is doing the splash off the cage. Okay. Rikishi style, Superfly style. We're getting the huge splash off the top of the cage. That's why it's a cage match. It's a cage match to keep the other guys out, but we watch wrestling long enough. It never does. So it's really just another thing for them to jump off. Yeah, exactly. Oh, I hope it's not one of those exit through the door matches. That would just ruin it. But I hope we can get something good out of this. It was interesting that they flipped it to solo, but they really clearly wanted to continue this feud. But I want Fatu to like move away from bloodline stuff and just like have his own kind of story arcs and stuff. So hopefully it does go in that direction. We have a no DQ, no count out last chance match for the women's IC title. If Lynch wins, Valkyria can no longer challenge while Becky is champion. Becky defending against Lyra Valkyria. You know what? This one could be a weekend stealer right here. This could be the show stealer. These two have been having some great chemistry. Obviously, they go way back, but Lyra is definitely finding her wings, if you will, lately. And maybe we flip it back to Lyra here. What do you think?
I would love to see Lyra get a big moment on her own, because she had that Mania moment with Lynch, but that was for the tag belts. And I mean, it's tag belts, right? I would love to see her have a breakout performance here. I totally think that when we look back on this weekend, we're going to be talking about the main events, the big title matches, but everyone's going to go, well, what about this other match that kind of, was the sleeper pick for sort of one of the better matches of the weekend? I think this is totally going to be that. These two can have the potential to put together a really good match here. I do find the stipulation a little goofy that Valkyria can't challenge for the women's Intercontinental Championship again. If she loses, it's like, oh, who cares? Like, just challenge for the better belt. Like,
go for the world belt. Yeah. Still, I guess it's elevating this. Like, this title's relatively new. Obviously, it's a project to get Lyra kind of over, but I think it's working. And having Becky as this, baddie here, I think it's somewhat working. And the wrestling is definitely, like, Becky is one of the best well-rounded like stars and women's wrestlers. But I do think this could be a weekend, a match people are talking about after, like, oh wow, that one was awesome, because the last few were really good. I'm thinking back to that Evolution triple threat as well. That was pretty good.
Yes.
Speaking of triple threats and women's wrestling, the women's world championship, Naomi putting the title on the line against Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. We saw Io and Rhea tear it up this year, just recently at Evolution. Think back to the triple threat with Bianca at WrestleMania, one of my matches of the year. I can't stop thinking about that match. Was awesome. So now we have another triple threat, but this time Naomi as the champ after cashing in. I think Naomi retains, and we still keep Rhea and Io at odds for down the line for one day another big blow-off match. But I don't think anyone would be mad about it with the quality of matches we've gotten from them this year. But what do you think, Naomi retains?
I hope she retains, simply because I'm just loving her heel work. She is such an over-the-top heel right now. The whole proceed with caution character, I absolutely love it. When looking at this Sunday lineup, and between this three-way match and the Lynch-Valkyria match, this has the potential to be like a show where the women's division really steals the show. And I'm thinking back to that three-way you mentioned at WrestleMania with Bianca, Sky, and Ripley, and that was a match where after Mania finished, everyone was saying that was the match of the night in a lot of people's match of the weekend. For a lot of people's cases. When you look at the women's matches on this card and then compare it to some of the weaker men's matches on this lineup, I think there's totally a potential for the women here to become the high point of Sunday.
The women have been killing it in wrestling, full stop, in 2025. Like, in my opinion, the women's wrestling on WWE has stepped up immensely. Like, some of the best, again, that triple threat, I'd put it up against any other women's match ever in WWE and would probably pick it. It was so good. I just think women right now are definitely like breaking through and outdoing the men this year, especially in WWE. There hasn't necessarily been a like, whoa, that was the match of the year outside of that for me in WWE. Like, even we've been saying it a lot. Davie and I are doing this show like on NXT. We're like, wow, look at this like the next class that are going to eventually graduate to the main roster, and these women are going to be stars. But the men's side is like shallow. It is a shallow pool. It is like, whoa, there's not a lot going on. And again, I mentioned I just watched the 2 episodes of WWE Unreal, and I don't know if you saw the clip where Triple H is having a conversation with Shane Helms, and he basically says that. He straight up says, like, yo, we got a crazy stacked women's roster in the PC, but like not a lot of dudes. The dudes aren't stepping up. And I'm like, that's kind of totally fair. So the women are killing it, and women's wrestling in 2025, whether it's WWE, AEW, like is really, really stepped up, and it's been really enjoyable to watch. So I'm looking forward to this. Naomi, she's being prominent position, walking out Evolution 2 with the title and everything. So I'm kind of I will say
that Ripley and Sky have enough momentum behind them that they don't need a title right now to keep that going. Whereas I would prefer if, they tried to build Naomi a little more and try to really do something with this run. Really the first real run she's gotten since returning to WWE.
Yeah.
Where Sky and Ripley, they're going to be stars 6 months from now, whether or not they're in the title picture.
Exactly. Yeah. And then, so are we going with Naomi retaining? I think that's probably the safe bet. As much as I want to see my girl Io get that
in
title
a very heelish way. I want her to steal the win.
You want Naomi to steal the win? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She's didn't do something dastardly for sure.
Do the Trick Willie Slammiversary finish.
Just pin someone out of nowhere. He threw Joe
someone
out
off the pin and go for the pin yourself.
Right. Yeah. Do that. We have the main event of SummerSlam both nights. Night 2, street fight for the undisputed. What's the difference between a street fight, the no disqualification, no count out, last chance, and then there's too many of these stipulations that are like, oh wait a second, this is a street fight for the undisputed championship. John Cena taking on Cody Rhodes, the rematch from night 2 of WrestleMania. Will Travis Scott make an appearance?
That's the big question, right?
Everyone's wondering what will Travis Scott do to help John Cena win this match? I think I've mentioned I can't off the top of my head think of a WWE match of the year outside of maybe that women's triple threat, maybe Rhea from Evolution. But you know what I can think of really quickly off the top of my head? The worst match of the year. It's quite possibly John Cena and Cody Rhodes, simply because of Travis Scott ruining the 17-time world championship win. And the more time goes on, the more I hate it even more. I think I was a defender when it was, but the match was pretty good before Travis Scott. No, actually, it just makes everything just awful. I am like really hoping that Cena and Cody can right the wrongs from WrestleMania, because that was one of the worst WrestleMania main events and moments. And now, again, time removed, whether you're online or reading the dirt sheets or whatnot, they haven't mentioned Travis Scott. They never really referenced why Travis Scott did this. No. And they haven't mentioned why he hasn't shown back up. And I mean, if we're putting kind of the pieces together, it looks like he just couldn't handle the grind. He just opened up that window and then flew away, just out of nowhere and gone. So what the hell could they do to top that WrestleMania match at SummerSlam? Literally anything, because anything could be better. Literally anything could be better than that match.
A table spot. Like, that would be it.
They'll do a table spot, sure. But I really want this to be better. And I'm like, I already got fooled again, and fool me twice. I won't get fooled again. I will, but it's wrestling and it's WWE. So what do you think? What are you looking at going into this?
I'm just trying to think if there's been a good Cena match since Chamber. Like, since Chamber, has there been a title match or a singles match he's put on that really has been good? And
for me, no. Yeah. I thought he looked really good in the Chamber. You were there too in Toronto. Like, I thought the Chamber match itself was actually really good. But since the heel run, I didn't like the SummerSlam match. I didn't really like the Randy match. The Punk match was, again, like some bells and whistles of just like, I don't know. I haven't been feeling the run, and I trust me, I really wanted to, but it's not hitting for me.
It's funny you mentioned that Mania match. I mean, I remember watching it. I had all this family with me, and they were like, it's like all the people who don't watch wrestling regularly. So it's like when that match had such a stinker, it was like everyone looking at me because it's like my thing.
Yeah, you're like, oh, you like this shit, this stupid.
Yeah, that was like me showing everyone what I like and them seeing it and being like, oh, this is horrible.
So you got to play them the G1 after. Play some New
guys,
Japan.
come on, just stay. I'm about to show you Kenny Okada right now. Just stick around the TV. Yeah, so I'm hopefully I've no hopes for this match. Well, when you
brutal honesty though.
I mean, it would be great if this match is great, and they could do that, but like it's like fool me once, fool me twice. Like I'm not gonna go into this match expecting, after just a few months ago they put on such a stinker, I'm not expecting them to put on a great one. That's just how it works. Like I'm not gonna be fooled again. But at the same time, like let's just see how it goes. It's a street fight that they can use gimmicks to make it a more enjoyable match. My big question is, what makes a street fight different from a New Jersey street fight or a Chicago street fight or things like that?
Like, okay, obviously adding this gimmick is easier for someone like a John Cena. I mean, Cody can get pretty hardcore, if you will, but like obviously this adds, like you said, table spots and stuff to help out, like, the bells and whistles, the smoke and mirrors for
hopefully Cody can do that goofy frog splash again.
The goofy, when he had it in I don't know why I found that so funny. Yeah, I thought I was on my own there. I don't know what, I watched that clip of him. It's because of the suit. I think he didn't want to rip the suit, right?
Yeah.
That's why. Yeah. I kept thinking about it. I'm like, why did he look so goofy doing that splash? But it's probably because that suit is worth a lot of money. So I hope it will be better than their WrestleMania match. I think Cody should win. I think Cody should have a dominant win over John Cena. I don't think we're seeing Travis Scott. I don't think we're seeing The Rock. I think WWE got burned. I think they learned their lesson. You know what? As maybe like they won't admit it, but you had Travis Scott interrupt your WrestleMania main event, interfering in the biggest title change in history, the 17th time, breaking the record forever in the history books. And it will have this like embarrassing asterisk beside it, because now all this stuff, if Travis Scott doesn't want to be involved and this and that. And it's like, first of all, it was awful. It was terrible and didn't even make sense. This is coming from someone I've been following Travis Scott for many, many years. I've seen him live. Great performer. But why the fuck are you in WrestleMania interfering in this? And then just to be completely dropped. Clearly the guy didn't want to, I don't know, do it or whatnot. I'm not quite sure, but it's kind of embarrassing that forever, that moment, Ric Flair's title record was beaten because of Travis Scott. It will be in the history books, and it baffles me. So they can literally do anything and it will be better than that match. But do you think Cody winning is the right move?
It's the clock is ticking, right? Because you do have to, if you're going to turn Cena face, which I think everybody hopes is how he's going to go out, you have to do that eventually, and you have to give time to actually let that story play out. And explain how he's going to make that switch, and how he's going to do that as a whole different conversation, just the figuring out the writing of that and things like that. It's SummerSlam. It's the second biggest show of the year. So yeah, it would make sense for Cody to get his win here.
I think so. It makes sense.
I would be surprised if Cena won, but I also wouldn't completely count it out just because there is other things they can do,
Yeah. If you like, in this position that we're in right now, being like middle of the summer, he's only going till December, right? Cena, like, who is his last match at this point? Like, where are we going with that direction? Are you going to rematch Cody again? I don't think so.
Probably if Cody won, it could be a trilogy tiebreaker. So, but how much interest is there going to be around them facing each other, especially if this match doesn't deliver like the first one did, which is a possibility.
Yeah. Well, let us know. Agree, disagree. What's going to happen at SummerSlam this weekend? Hope you all enjoy SummerSlam. That's our little preview there. We will jump into NXT again next Tuesday, right after NXT. Davie and I will go live, and we'll give some thoughts on SummerSlam and whatnot. And I'm sure we'll talk all about Travis Scott or The Rock showing up, or or something like that. Who knows? You know, some other rapper just shows up to interfere in the main event of a WWE title match. But why not? It's wrestling. Book it. What, Cardi B? She's on the show, right? She's the host or something.
She's the host. Yeah,
she's the host. So like, she's got to get involved in something, some way, shape, or form. You know, she's been waiting to throw down. So
yeah. I mean, what's interesting is you have celebrities like Travis Scott, where it's like it doesn't really work out. But then when someone like Cardi B, where like on her Twitter account, there's like WWE tweets from like 10 years ago, like, you know, she like definitely wants to get involved in something.
She definitely, yeah, she wanted to be involved early on, but then wasn't it Lacey Evans talking shit that like maybe scared Cardi off? Like, whoa, thought this shit was fake. What's going on here? Why are you guys being so mean to me? But yeah, Cardi B. I almost forget that Cardi B. I haven't heard a Cardi B song in a long time, but I guess that will change this Sunday live on Peacock or Netflix or whatever.
Some people have never heard a Jelly Roll song ever, so you're doing better than.
Whoa, you're not comparing Cardi B to Jelly Roll. Come on, Cardi B is I think they're both Grammy winners now. I think somehow Jelly Roll got a Grammy. Anyways, so there's our SummerSlam preview. A few other things before we jump into NXT, and I swear we will. You mentioned the G1. Has there anything that, if you were to cherry pick for me, Jack, and tell me, because I have watched a few matches, but I'm behind. But just yesterday, I checked out Takeshita versus Shingo, two of my guys, and that was some straight up heat. That was way better than their Wrestle Kingdom match, which was also really good. Don't get me wrong, from like, was it last year or a year before or something like that? But this G1 Takeshita Shingo match was like blew me away, and definitely my match of the tournament, or one of the matches of the year this far, with just two guys killing it. But Konosuke Takeshita is my one ace going. He's my favorite guy to watch in wrestling, full stop. So this one definitely had my attention. But is there anything else I should be checking out in the G1?
I would say that so far the B block nights specifically have really been interesting for me, because it's just such a strong block. You have Takeshita, Zack Sabre Jr., you got Shingo Takagi in there. You know, there's some other people who can put on some good performances. Like those four alone, I think are really strong. I like El Phantasmo personally. I know he's not everyone's cup of tea, but I
love
enjoy
him,
his performances. And I'm a homer for Yoshihashi too, so that's like a block made for me. You know, there's been such low hype about the G1 this year, and there was discussions about the attendances being really low and sort of concerningly low in some cases. But I will say that when you put all that aside, just match quality wise, it's been a really fun tournament so far, and one that, you know, even though I get there isn't any interesting crossover stars in the tournament, and they're, you know, New Japan is a little low on their stars and after losing Naito and stuff like that. If you just give some of these matches a spin, you will really enjoy it.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, like
and I would say start with a B block.
Start with B block. Okay.
Even though the block lost Gabe Kidd due to injury, it's still going really strong.
Okay, solid. Like I definitely have dropped off New Japan, especially in the last few years. But I tend to check in on the big stuff, obviously Wrestle Kingdom, and I'm a cherry picker when it comes to G1. Like if someone tells me you got to check this out, then I go and put it on.
You have to be. I mean, it's so much content.
Yeah, there's too much, and it can be like overwhelming. And I think it's a tough spot for New Japan right now. They've tried to heat up some of these new guys and make new stars, but it doesn't seem to work. They tried with Gabe Kidd and he gets injured. So I will say it again. Konosuke Takeshita should be walking out of Wrestle Kingdom as IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. He is the guy who could save them if they just booked him a little properly. Just have him win the whole thing. I don't even know if it's proper, he can at this point. I don't know how far it is. I'm a little behind, but hopefully
it was such a no-brainer to bring him back for the G1 after the year he had last year in the G1. I mean, I'm very happy that he's part of the tour again.
Yeah, I'm very excited. He's definitely someone to watch, and that Shingo match was a banger. So definitely shout out the chicken wing. I mean, the food chicken wings are good too, but the wrestling move chicken wing, fantastic,
even better
finishing. Yeah, so good. Did you watch any of WWE Unreal on Netflix? Did you see any of that? Are you interested in any of that?
I've read about it. I'm interested just to see how it looks, like what you see, you know, what you like, how much of it you think it is real versus unreal. I guess I haven't.
It's
been
not
able to
very
watch
real. It's not very real, but you know, it's
Well,
another.
it's just an interesting idea, like the whole peeling back the curtain, but only kind of. Just that angle of it, I find really interesting. So I am definitely going to get around to it. I don't necessarily agree with people saying it's like that they dislike the peeling back the curtain thing, because like I don't know, like this has kind of happened a million times in wrestling, and like happens with every single interview with a wrestler. So like I don't see the issue in like peeling back the curtain.
I totally get like there's your old school hardcore fans. Like I don't know if you checked out the WrestleMania Vegas documentary that they put out just a few months ago. That was all the footage from this like time capsule from that original Vegas WrestleMania, and you could see like the way people were filming, especially the Undertaker being like, hey, why is there a camera there? And like would not want to break character, and like, you know, they kept it close to their vest. And I know that there's the old school mentality there, but for the last 20 years, like 20 plus years, 30 years of like internet, like there's been you shoot promos or like any type of way where people are breaking that fourth wall. Like kayfabe has been dead for a very long time.
Post wrestling interviews,
you shoot, whatever those, like anytime I've watched random, you know, what's the, don't say his name, shoot the guy who shoots on Enzo Amore, like all that video keeps popping up in my algorithm, or like your Maven on YouTube, you know, like I think WWE just like, we want a piece of that pie because other, like it's all the cat's already out the bag. Why not, like, you know, explain maybe what wrestling. I do think this is a tool to bring in new fans. I do think that, because it maybe if someone's like a, you know, I dabble, I watch every now and then you watch this, it gets you a little bit interesting, because I know the Vince McMahon doc, maybe WWE weren't necessarily too happy of how maybe it portrayed and said some things. But when I talk to people in real life, that interested them back in wrestling, because they watched a documentary, or when they watched Dark Side of the Ring, they're like, oh wait, maybe I do want to watch this kind of thing. So I get where people are maybe a little upset behind that, but this is their.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say it's still like is still WWE, like it's still not showing you everything. It's showing you what they want you to see. So it's not necessarily killing the business. And I thought there was, again, at this point I've only watched episode 2, because so far I enjoyed it. I enjoy seeing the stories of these people. When you see John Cena, it shows clips of John Cena doing Make-A-Wish like engagements, and I got emotional watching, like, wow, this guy literally is like a Superman, like doing this kind of stuff. It shows people's interviews with Rhea Ripley or CM Punk, and like shows their stories. And what this show reminded me, again, only 2 episodes in, is these people do a whole lot of stuff for our entertainment, and they put their bodies on the line and go through some crazy, you know, you wake up one day and you go, I really don't want to go to work today. They feel that way too. And therefore they're going out there and hurting themselves for our enjoyment. So I definitely get a whole lot of respect. I definitely got to watch the rest of this series to maybe get the grasp the whole thing, but it just made me want to see this kind of show, but for like the gritty, like I don't want to see CM Punk talking about himself now. I want to see CM Punk on the grind, going town to town for Ring of Honor back in like the 2000s. Like I want to see the documentary of like some real tough shit, whereas again, they're maybe being selective of what we actually get out of this. But so far, I'd say it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think that documentaries about WWE really show like how much of a machine the company is, in terms of like so many people think that wrestling, like you just show up, you wrestle, you go home, but like there's just so much more to the job that these guys do that you don't necessarily see. You're not going to get like a beyond the mat type look at wrestling here. They're trying to get their own Drive to Survive Formula One popularity
exactly
here, just like NASCAR tried, just like cycling tried, just like tennis tried, just like a million sports wanted their own Drive to Survive. But I mean, when you see how much of a boost that did for Formula One, especially in North America, diversified their audience like crazy, it's not surprising that WWE wants a show like this. I will mention that I think it's almost a testament to how the business and sort of kayfabe is viewed right now, that there was an interview with the director of the show who said that, you know, he was warned about this or that when he started shooting, but at the end of the day, nobody ever turned down an interview with him. Every single person he approached to speak to for the documentary, everyone said yes. So clearly there's less, guarding of the industry now compared to, like you mentioned, at the previous Vegas Mania.
Yeah, and they do a really good job of showing all the different stories, and again, focusing on maybe stuff you didn't know that was happening behind the scenes. And I think it's a great tool, whether people want to call it Triple H propaganda, Papa Triple H, Papa Paul propaganda. It kind of is, but again, this is a marketing tool to get people into it. I think of like Total Divas was a superficial reality show, but in the end, it was a success because it got people watching something about WWE. Therefore, you're maybe being brought.
That was like the original Drive to Survive, if you think about
it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Wei Ting would definitely agree with you on that. Big Total Divas fan. But and then in other news, Hulk Hogan died. Anyways, let's talk about. No, I haven't done a podcast since Hulk Hogan died, so I feel like I should talk about Hulk Hogan, but I don't really want to, but I guess we should. You're too young to be a Hulkamaniac, Jack. You're born in like what?
It's true.
You learned about 9/11 in school. Oh, you're born in 01. Okay, right.
Yeah.
So you don't pass the Shrek test. But were you ever a Hulkamaniac in your life?
So like
what is Hulk Hogan to you if you're born in 2001?
I mean, you understand like the historical importance of him, but like I didn't live through any important part of his career, to be honest, unless you really found his like TNA run important or something like that.
God, no, please don't.
So like, I mean, I've gone back and watched like, a lot of old stuff with him, early Manias. The other day I watched him versus Inoki, which is on, it's actually free to watch on New Japan World right now.
Right. Yeah. I saw them post that. Yeah.
It is interesting to go back on that stuff, but like, when he passed, for me, it wasn't. I mean, it was a huge news story, and I think that's what really I honed in on, was just like the sort of scope of it. But for me, it wasn't like some big moment. I think it's because I didn't really live through that much of Hogan's career. I lived through a lot of the lowlights, actually.
That's completely fair. That's like, again, you're born in 2001. I'm born in 1991. So I wasn't watching wrestling until I'm early teenagers, but of course I knew who Hulk Hogan was. Mm-hmm. Everyone could point, like, he is a household name by the time it was the 80s, 90s, right? Like, such a huge name, and everyone's uncle or grandmother knows who Hulk Hogan is, right? Like, it's just like he's become the poster boy for wrestling, so to speak. Even though he's had his problems and shit he said and pissed a lot of people off, every Halloween, I will see like a dozen people dressed as Hulk Hogan every year, no matter where I go. And sometimes they don't even know. They just go, "Oh yeah, I love wrestling. I love WWE." It's like, okay, you don't. Yeah, all right, fair enough. You don't know that deep of like maybe why you shouldn't dress up like him. But fuck it, I guess you wanna wear the red and yellow, the MasterCard, go for it. But like for me, growing up, I knew who he was. I knew all about. His shitty movies, especially Mr. Nanny, would play on Family Channel a lot. Like, I knew of Hulk Hogan. And then when I got into wrestling, he was in and out, kind of showing up in WWE.
Did you miss out on him versus Rock at Mania?
I didn't go to that. Yeah, I did not go to Hogan and Rock. Davie and I recently just
Were you watching that though? Like, were you watching at the time?
No, but okay. I remember some of my family and I remember some of my friends at school all went, and I was like, "Oh, okay, like cool, right?" Like, "Oh, okay." I knew of wrestlers, I knew of stuff. I always like really enjoyed the Hardy Boys even before really I got into wrestling. But Hogan, like, you just knew what it was, and I so wish I went to Hogan Rock. Like, me and Davey just reviewed WrestleMania 18 a few months ago, and like we still praise that match. Not on mute, but when you watch that match, it still hits like the whatever. It's just fantastic. But like, Hogan was such a big deal, and you grew up, people like knew him and loved him. And then of course, I don't know, even before the Gawker stuff, like he just had a bad like name associate. Like, everyone always shit on him. Everyone called him a liar. He double crossed so many people. He had a lot of enemies. And then the Gawker stuff comes, and like that's just a whole other like layer. So I think it's fair to say like the person Terry Bollea, kind of comes across, or did come across, as a piece of shit, really. But that doesn't take away the legacy of the character, I guess you could say, of Hulk Hogan over the years. Because like at one point I was a Hulkamaniac. I was watching. I went back when I got into wrestling. I would go back on the WWE channel I had and rewatch all the old WrestleManias and stuff. And like I was super young. I'd be like, oh, cool, sick. But he was never really like one of my favorites, or like would say he's my goat or anything like that. And especially in the last few years where people are like, fuck that guy. So I'm kind of like, leave the memories alone. But yeah,
it's a story that you have to tell both sides too. It's a two-part story. That there was Hulk Hogan, the incredibly huge influence in wrestling, and sort of the name that to this day is synonymous with pro wrestling, that when you say wrestling, when you say WWE, WWF, people immediately go to Hulk Hogan before they do so many other names.
Yeah.
But I mean, there was countless things that hurt his legacy and, turned people completely sour on him. And there are so many things that when you look at why someone turns sour on him and you see the reasoning, you have to go, well, I don't really blame you here. Like it's hard to sort of be mad at people or disagree with people who had their reasoning for not liking him. So it was a story in two parts that, there was a lot of bad, but also just a huge influence. I mean, the thing that stuck with me was when he passed, I was thinking to myself, okay, I'm in my, mid-20s. Am I ever going to live through, popularity wise, a bigger wrestler passing than this? And
yeah,
I was thinking to myself, I'm not sure I will. And to say that, at my age is so wild, because it's just so many things that came after Hogan. It's hard to tell if that'll ever have a bigger cultural, mainstream impact than him. So I just thought that was really, to see how big of a story his passing was really striking to me.
Yeah, it is. It was huge. I work in the media too. That day, it was everywhere. It was unavoidable on every station.
I left the house a few hours after his passing, and as I was walking into a store, I overheard someone on the phone, kid you not, doing a Hulk Hogan impression.
Later that night, it was only a few days ago, right? Like last week now. Later that night, I went to a big public park, and there's a big public pool, and these guys were walking out of the pool, and the one guy was wearing a Hulkamania shirt. So I went, "Hey brother, rest in peace, eh?" And he went, "Oh yeah, rest in peace." And then I went, "Yeah, rest in piss." And he's like, "Wait, what? What are you talking about?" I was like, "No, rest in peace." And then I walked off. I didn't want to get in a fight, right? But you don't know. Some people are just like, "Yeah, I loved Hulkamania," and they don't know any of this other stuff. Maybe they're just oblivious to it. But
he could have been ready to swing over that,
Yeah, and then drop the leg.
But yeah, I mean, considering all the stuff that he did that was bad. I wasn't necessarily I wasn't a Hulk Hogan fan before. I understood the impact that he had on the industry, but it's just like John said last week, your life is a tryout for how you're remembered.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. Like, of course, people are going to remember the good stuff and the memories growing up, watching wrestling, being the they keep throwing around the Babe Ruth of wrestling. Like, he did help bring wrestling to the forefront. He was that big character, the catapult that definitely helped the creation, Vince McMahon and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, over the years, people really didn't like that guy for a lot of the things he said, a lot of his views, trying to sell a shitty beer. That's the last WWE on-screen moment of Hulk Hogan, is getting booed the fuck out of LA, trying to shill us his American beer. And I think that's just poetic. I went to WrestleMania 35 and Hogan comes out to start the show. And this is my genuine reaction. When Real American hits, I went, "Oh, oh yeah, fuck that guy." And a lot of people did that. People were sitting down. People were turning around. I was like, for the 0.3 seconds, I was like, "Yeah, oh yeah, I don't like this guy. Yeah, fuck you. Yeah, Metallica bass player. Yeah, sure. Okay, fuck you." So I don't know. I'm torn. Again, it's the same thing when music, your favorite artist or a band gets in trouble for something, and it's like, fuck, the person is a piece of shit. I might not ever go buy your albums again, but if I already own the album, am I allowed to play it in my own home if I really love that album or song? It's kind of a morale decision there, your own kind of thing, right? So I'll never stop listening to, I'm not going to go put on R. Kelly, you know what I mean? But like, or Diddy, maybe. I'm on a Kanye timeout for like the last like year and a half. I don't know about you, but yeah, anyways, we'll see. I don't think I'm ever going to go rush to go put on Suburban Commando or Mr. Nanny or anything. All movies that came out before you were born, Jack. But if you ever have time this week, you should go check out Three Ninjas High Noon at Mega Mountain. It's definitely the best of Hulk Hogan. Yeah.
Like actually good?
What do you think, Jack?
Yeah, that sounds like something you put on when you're not in a sober state.
Like as a kid, yeah, absolutely. Like as a kid, I loved the Three Ninjas movies. You might not know what those are, but you should. And the third one is Hulk Hogan is like the villain. And then as I like got into wrestling, and I told you I went back and watched everything, there would be weeks of Hogan on Monday Night Nitro being like, "Oh yeah, brother, I'm filming this huge Hollywood movie." It was fucking straight to VHS, Three Ninjas Kickback or at High Noon or whatever. I was like, geez, like that's not a big Hollywood movie, you fucking liar. Anyways,
that's about on the same level as a WWE Studios movie.
Somehow maybe worse. I don't know, but
I would point people to the multi-part obituary that John Pollock has written on post site for Hogan. It's still ongoing. There's one last part I think that has yet to come out. But just so many things across a multi-decade career to cover, and he's done a pretty good job at telling it in a comprehensive way.
Like, I don't know. I'm sure when when Ozzy Osbourne died last week, I spent all day. I was on a big bike ride, blasting Black Sabbath, listening to the best of Ozzy. And then I got home. I was looking up, the Osbournes clips and stuff. But when Hogan died, I'm sure a lot of people went and watched old WrestleMania matches or promos. Instead, I just started reading all the lies that he's told over the years. I thought that was a more interesting read than just going back and watching the Mega Powers implode or whatever. But I don't know. I had a soft spot for Hogan. I can't deny, but over the years, fuck him, I guess. But rest in peace. I thought for a second we'd have a bigger news day here, Jack, because I saw just yesterday Vince McMahon in the news as well. But yeah, he was in a car accident. Now he's getting in trouble for, I don't know, driving. Maybe he's too old to drive, but reckless driving court date. As the motorist says, she is lucky to have survived, from this article at postwrestling.com. So Vince McMahon also in the news there, escaping death, I guess you could say. But will it be the same thing? Like when Vince McMahon finally passes, you're going to have the same kind of like mixed feelings where it's like, man, this guy was a monster and this and that. But the other side is like, oh, he like created WWF essentially for our childhoods and stuff. You're going to see the similar conversations that you were seeing with this Hulk Hogan stuff, I think.
I would imagine even more critical. But absolutely. I mean, I guess we'll wait and see.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's our news thing. I know you signed up for this for NXT talk, but instead we were talking all over the place. But again, Poisonrana.ca for all the links of other stuff that we do. But now we can talk about what we're here to talk about. Jack, I know you were so excited to talk about some NXT with me this week. Do you watch NXT regularly?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
you watch everything.
I find NXT really fun, and it can be better than SmackDown and Raw sometimes, or at least I would say at the very least, NXT tries different things in a way that can absolutely bomb at times. But you do have to at least commend them for trying something, where it does kind of feel like Raw, SmackDown, you are falling into a bit of a formula every week, and like things can get pretty predictable. So NXT has fun surprises for me.
Yeah, NXT lately, they've been having a bit of a a crisis of finding out who they are. Like, okay, are we promoting TNA? Are we promoting Evolve? They're kind of throwing things at the wall, but sometimes things do stick, and when they do, then they kind of move and cut and move, hopefully, with it. Because I did a show last week. Shout out B Detroit, Jordan Goodman, for holding the fort down with myself. And I had our friend Jordan come on because he told me he doesn't regularly watch NXT. He fell off like many. When the 2.0 happened, it was too stinky, and that stink hasn't gone away for a lot of people.
Yeah,
So
true.
it's a lot of wrestling fans that still are like, oh, NXT, whatever. Even still with like all this time that has kind of passed. So I do find it interesting of kind of who cherry picking is totally cool too, because some people listen to us. And like, I'll tell you right now, if you didn't watch NXT, hey, Javon Evans and Wes Lee, we're going to talk about it. Pretty good match. You might want to check it out, maybe. Let's talk about NXT from Tuesday, July 29th, 2025. We start off with the Hulk Hogan tribute, the 10 bell salute, the music video. They've been doing it on SmackDown, Raw, and everything. Seeing the whole roster out there. I know the internet was over the last few days trying to see pinpoint certain wrestlers' facial reactions, who wanted to be there and who was told they had to be there is kind of the thing the internet is assuming. But come on, it's Hulk Hogan, it's wrestling. I get it. But for a brief second here, we got a reunion of Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen for a quick second. They were standing near each other in this 10 bell salute. So I'm holding it out for the reunion. We get a recap of last week NXT in Houston with the Undertaker chokeslamming Trick Williams. And we go back to Florida in the PC, and we start things off with Fatal Influence making their way through Gorilla. You know what Gorilla is because I watched WWE Unreal and Triple H explained it to me.
Business exposed.
Jaida Parker is taking on Jazmyn Nix from Fatal Influence here. And again, as they're kind of walking through, JC says to Jazmyn, you want to prove yourself? Well, prove you're a baddie. Are they just straight up stealing Jade's old gimmick from the baddies and everything? Because they've been really using this a lot now, the baddies. Fatal Influence are the baddies. Are you a baddie?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not part of Fatal Influence, so I guess some people would disagree.
Yeah, I think you are. I am too. We could all be in the... Was it the baddie section? That's what it was. The baddie section with Jade and AEW. Me and Davie applied. We never got that call back. So Jade, we're still waiting on that. Anyways, Jazmyn versus Jaida here. Jazmyn's showing off some quick offense, her soccer skills with the flying soccer kick to the face. Say what you want about Jazmyn Nix, but I swear this next sentence is truthful. Jazmyn Nix puts in a more impressive Muda lock than the Great Muda. I said it. It came out of my mouth. No. I can't take it back, but tell me.
I'm glad you buried this on the second hour.
Jazmyn Nix did a very impressive Muda lock here. All right. Can't take that away from her. She comes even more offense with the kicks as Parker got out of the Muda lock there. There's then a Pele, the Nix kick, if you will, but it's she can't capitalize for the near fall. Eventually, Jada's in control. She gets her into the corner, does the big butt drop into the corner, the teardrop butt attack, really, and then followed by the high step. She's really feeling herself, runs the ropes, and hits the hypnotic, pins Jazmyn in light work here. And Fatal Influence are pissed at Jazmyn here. Like, how could you do this? You wanted to be a baddie, and you couldn't even beat her? Not a baddie, not a goodie. Pretty quick match. There was some stuff from both of them, but I can't say it was a whole lot.
Nix had a great Pele kick. The Nix kick looks really smooth, and she has some fun stuff. This was a really quick match, like you said, but good stuff from both of them. Nothing to really complain about here.
So you're saying Jazmyn? I'm saying Jazmyn Nix has a better Muda lock than the Great Muda, and you're saying she's got a better Pele kick than AJ Styles. That's what I think we're getting across the board here, but I think she has improved over time. Like,
as long as we leave Pele himself out of this conversation.
Yeah, true. Yeah, what is Finn Balor calls it the overhead kick because he's like, nah, fuck Pele or something. I don't know. That's what Davie tells me, and he's a Brit, so I listen to him when it comes to the footy. But I think she has improved. Fatal Influence, they're teasing this like dissension as they kind of have been for a while, but that's such a staple of NXT is just tease.
Kind of what teams do,
Yeah, they always do this. So I don't know if necessarily breaking them up is the right choice because it has been working, dare I say, for Jazmyn Nix. Like, we were worried at one point, but like we were like wondering, oh, where is she? She hasn't been on TV, and now she's back, and she is impressive. So and Jaida, like, obviously they see big things for her and potentially more title opportunities and stuff. But a quick little match to start NXT. JC Jane is just yelling at her like, what is wrong with you, you loser? So again, teasing that something could be wrong in this group. We go backstage. Javon Evans, he is he's talking to High Rise, and he says, you guys should have warned Trick not to go out there and face the Undertaker. Also, you should have warned Trick not to wear that goofy outfit, as he laughs and kind of walks off over to Chase U and talks about how the Undertaker gave him some wise words and that you got to go up to the biggest dog in the yard and show adversity. So Chase U, Cale Dixon, and Uriah Connors. Both say, oh, yeah, maybe we should do the same thing. So they have some ideas to go up to the biggest dogs in the yard, which we assume may be the tag champions. But this leads to Javon walking down to the ring. He grabs a microphone as the crowd and the PC are chanting Young OG. He says that the Undertaker told me to go after the biggest dog, so I want to come out here and call out the biggest dog in NXT. And that's when Trick Williams comes out. And he says, oh, I know you've been talking to the dead man and all that, but there's 3 things you shouldn't do. 1, pull on Superman's cape. 2, try Trick Williams. Or 3, try the biggest blockbuster in NXT history, also meaning Trick Williams. I thought that was pretty, like 3 things, and 2 of the things are the same thing, but okay, all right. He says that you need to mind your business, Javon, because like I said last week, grown men are talking. Javon says that, yeah, you don't have big dog energy. Shout out BDE. And Trick says, well, yeah, you can't come out here and say all this kind of stuff. And Javon just laughs and goes, Trick, man, I wasn't out here to call you out. I was calling the big dog out. You're not the big dog. Oba Femi is the big dog. This really pisses off Trick Williams. I thought this was a pretty funny promo exchange. When High Rise come out, they start to yell at Javon, being like, oh, you young punk, you don't disrespect Trick Williams. He's the TNA champion like that. And eventually they jump Javon, and Wes hits him with the cardiac kick, leaving him laying.
I want to mention, it was actually Evans who threw the first blow here. He was planning to do a 4 versus 1 brawl.
The numbers game just don't add up. He's too young. He doesn't know that, 4 against 1 usually doesn't end up well, but he's the young white meat babyface. He was going to try to fight them all, I guess. But yes, this will lead to a match later tonight, Wes Lee versus Javon Evans. But I thought the line of Trick being like, yo, dog, I wasn't calling you out, was a really clever way of like punking Trick out yet again. I think Trick really has come. Trick did say in this promo, like, this is the best version of Trick Williams. Like I finally hit my stride. And I do kind of believe that. I mean, maybe the wrestling in ring still hasn't completely hit for me, but this guy just oozes charisma. Like he could read a phone book probably on TV and make it sound good. So I do think his like, I don't know, presence and being TNA champion and all that has really stepped up.
Part of me wonders if they try to emphasize Evans being younger than everyone else by making him talk more like a Gen Zer than everyone else.
I think he just speaks that way anyways. I mean, look at his Twitter. We've seen how he tweets too, right? So
it's very amusing. But I will say that, yeah, this was a fun segment. I really like Evans on the mic. Williams does a good job as a heel. I like this backstage segment because it sort of weaved a few storylines together. It was just kind of like, it was interesting to see Evans just kind of like eavesdropping on conversations. You don't really see segments shot like that too often. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean. NXT loves to not just do one segment, but weave like 6 segments if they could in one thing. But yeah, I think it's almost confusing me though, because Javon saying, Trick, I'm not coming for you. I want Oba, and like kind of getting ahead of ourselves, but we'll have sort of a face-to-face with Oba, Trick, and Javon where it's like, are we going to go back to this triple threat match that we've already had before?
Well, but I think so. They said in this segment that Evan said, I want Obafemi, but I'm willing to go through you to get to Obafemi. So I assume they're probably going to set up a match between them, and then whoever wins faces Oba. I don't know.
Because we've never had the Trick Oba one-on-one, and Oba glancing at the TNA title the other week, meaning like, hey, I want that. Javon taking the TNA title could be weird, I guess, because like another NXT star, but it's a babyface holding the TNA title would kind of be strange. I don't know.
Well, I guess the question is, do you do a match for the TNA belt if they're facing each other, or do you just treat this as an isolated NXT storyline?
Yeah. And
Because,
yeah. Or maybe
also,
just
does it
them.
hurt the TNA title if Evans isn't even like thinking about going after it? He's just like, I want the NXT. I don't know. They kind of did that with Inamura, right?
Yeah, they totally
he did that. So.
Yeah, Inamura was like, "Oh wow, I won a TNA World Title shot. Yeah, I don't really want this. Do you want this, Brig?" And he's like, "Oh shit, yeah, sure." That was so punking it out. Yeah. I think we could go the direction of like Trick versus Javon, and then he beats Javon and still is champion, and then face. Like I see someone walking out as double champion in 2020.
But yeah, part of me thinks that whatever happens is going to lead to a title versus title, just
Yeah.
because they already did that in the women's division. It just kind of seems obvious.
Yeah.
And just feeds into the whole NXT versus TNA thing, which we're clearly leading to. So
we see Chase U going into the locker room, and they see the men's locker room here, and they take a peek through the door, and Uriah sees Hank and Tank, and they kind of see them like, "Hey guys, what are you doing?" And he's like, "Shh, they'll see us." And they have steel chairs, and they go, "We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it." And they go to bust into this locker room, and their plan is to beat up Hank and Tank with these chairs, but they're good guys, so they can't really do it. So Hank and Tank like hold up their belts, like, what are you guys doing? And it's like, we were gonna attack you with these chairs because what the Undertaker told Javon is we got to go after the big dog, right? And guys, you didn't need to do that. All you need to do was ask. So they're like, oh. So next week, Hank and Tank versus Chase U, as Chase comes in being like, what's going on? And they're like, I don't know. Apparently, all you need to do is ask to get a title shot here. And Chase is like, oh my God, you guys, what are you doing? So that match is official. Chase U versus Hank and Tank next week.
I love the that they were like, we'll give you a shot. We love Andre Chase. And I like the perfect wrestling logic of, well, if we just attack the champs, we'll get a shot, which is for the most part true.
Yeah, you just piss them off, and then they'll want to fight you, and then you put the title on the line. Or ask, I guess. Ask and you shall receive. We go to our next match, talking about funny stipulations in the world of wrestling. I always love this stipulation. If Tavion versus Charlie, and if Tavion wins, he can leave the no quarter catch crew. This is the second time this guy has had this match. The third time we've had this stipulation now in the last few months here on NXT. Obviously, Miles Bourne winning and leaving the club. So Tavion Heights versus Charlie Dempsey, and if Tavion wins, he can leave. They both come out together with the Power Rangers theme playing, and this time Ren hopefully does not throw in the towel as they kind of recount the last time these two fought. It was Ren's fault that Tavion didn't win. We start off with some great chain wrestling here from the no quarter catch crew. Charlie catches them with some like side wrist throws and kind of showing off some of the wrestling from both of these guys. Tavion comes back with a series of like again, chain wrestling and counters to everything that Charlie has. But then Charlie rolls him up into a beautiful single leg crab. When we come back, there's a huge double leg takedown from Heights, followed up by a belly to belly, and then a second like running belly to belly here. Very like Ken Shamrock-esque here. And he pins Charlie and is no longer in the no quarter catch crew. So there is some quarters catching with Tavion Heights, but a quick little match, but at least we got some wrestling. I really do love Tavion's belly to bellies.
I really like both these guys in the ring. We got a tease of Ren again trying to throw in a towel. I think the story was that she couldn't find a towel at ringside. So
Tavion just hid them.
Yeah.
Made sure there was no towels.
I enjoyed this match. I don't really love the fact that Tavion lost just for them to book the match, for Bully Ray to book the match again, and then he fights his way out. Like, I thought that was kind of lame. But I mean, yeah, he's out now. Cool. I think it's interesting to see what happens with no quarter catch crew next. I like the idea of Dempsey bringing in more people and keeping it going, similar to like a Chase U where people can cycle in and out. I think that would be fun. Yeah, it's interesting to see what happens with both these guys. I hope they can do something interesting with Heights like they've done with Miles Bourne since he got out of the NQCC, because I like him, but I also do worry that once he's out of this faction, they're just going to be like, well, we don't have any options for you.
Yeah, that's like Miles. The story was like he's going for the title. He lost, but then since then it's kind of like just been chilling and now going into a feud with Lexus King and whatnot. But like, what are you going to do with Tavion after this? It's like
my biggest issue, my biggest worry is if someone just stops being on TV, because Miles Bourne, I mean, we knew he wasn't going to win the title, or at least that's what I expected. But, you know, he's still on TV on a weekly basis, so it's like not a huge deal that he's doing a mid-card thing now.
Like, I liked Miles and Tavion as a tag team. They were solid. Like, the wrestling was great. I liked this whole crew as a crew, really. So I'm kind of wondering where we go. Like, the NQCC is just Charlie and Ren QCC, really. So, like, I do think you might get them getting other people or whatnot, but maybe end it. Like, we've seen the Diamond Mine stuff in NXT. It's kind of similar. It's like the Catch Point or whatever. Like we have cliques in NXT. It's like Degrassi, right? Like we got little cliques, and like there's always the one like wrestling nerd group, and this is it. And now they've lost 2 members, so we'll. It would
be interesting to see a story of like maybe does Ren now want out, considering she's like the only person, and I think that would be an interesting turn, because when she joined No Quarter Catch Crew, she was like the person who felt like she didn't deserve to be there. Like it was kind of like joining a faction that was a little more serious than she was.
She's been great. Every time she's on TV, she's usually a scene stealer. So I like all the members of these groups. So I'm kind of like, why separate them when it was maybe just starting to like go somewhere? Because I like Charlie too, but I feel like out of all of them, he hasn't showed the most personality or character. Like other than, okay, he's a good wrestler and he's Regal's kid. I haven't seen, and grows a wicked handlebar mustache. I can't really tell you much about him, right? So maybe we got to get there eventually. But I was expecting a little bit more. I wish maybe we got some more time here, but it didn't necessarily feel important that he just leaves this group. I think the thing was kind of over it the first time it happened. But what's next?
This did feel like a kind of a sudden payoff. Like it was just like, all right, we're doing this match. Here's the finish. He's out, you know?
Yeah. It's like, oh, okay. Belly to belly. All right. That's it. Like Charlie, what do we do with him? What do we do? Like in the chat here, Megan in the chat saying, Chris in the chat saying Miles and Tavion should win the tag titles, but like they were in a group as a tag team and now they're not in a group. Should they be a tag team? I kind of think they should, because like I liked them as a team, but anyways.
But I guess the question is like, what do you do with Heights for now? Because Bourne's still going to be tied up for a few more weeks.
Months with Lexus King.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not against that idea. I think my bigger concern right now is like, what do you do with the NQCC? Like, do you add more people? Do you just like do a story that splits them eventually? I worry that if you do something with NQCC and new members, are there going to be too many parallels to Chase U, which is doing that exact same story?
Yeah, like your rehash.
It is a very specific story to do concurrently.
Like NXT's been doing that for a while, where they just like your original cast is gone. Let's just bring in other people. Like they're really trying with Uriah and Kale, but can't necessarily see where that end game is going because they're kind of a comedy gimmick for now. Anyways, Trick Williams backstage with High Rise, and Wes says that there's a match made tonight. It's him versus Javon Evans, and says that I will take Javon Evans out for you, Trick. But if I do that, maybe you could put a good word in and get Tyson and Tyreek a shot at the TNA tag team titles. And Trick says, yeah, I'm Trick and A. I'm the TNA world champion. I'll get that match made for them. No problem. Because I got all the stroke when it comes to TNA. When Santino Marella walks by, he goes, you think you have the stroke? I am the stroke. But tonight, I'm not just TNA Director of Authority. Tonight, I am a WWE superstar. And I'm going to show that bum hole boy, Ethan Page, what's coming. And that TNA title trick is coming home soon, too, as he walks off to get ready for his match tonight. That's right. Santino is wrestling. So in one segment here, we get Santino making some jokes, but also saying that Trick, you can't just make matches, when I definitely think we'll see High Rise get that tag title shot probably sooner rather than later.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. I don't think that there should have been like a moment where, Wes Lee asked for the shot and Trick Williams was like, well, I don't know if you know this, but the Hardys are the champions right now, so maybe you guys don't want that match.
Yeah, you don't get a title shot because the Hardys have to keep these titles until October when they face the Dudleys.
That's true. That's true.
And I said last week with B and Jordynne, like, I'm in. It's gonna be awful, but like I will be watching. I will be seated. I will be watching that match if and when it happens. I hope Tavon's all right, but yeah, maybe High Rise take those titles, and then it's High Rise versus the Dudleys.
Oh, that's what everyone wants.
Well,
a match weeks in the making.
Yeah. Speaking of what everyone wants, we go to Blake Monroe. She makes her entrance here, looks in the mirror. She makes her way out, and Vic Joseph really hitting over the head here that Blake Monroe is going to expose Jordynne Grace, which I thought was very, very great word to use here. Expose. Let's see how it plays out. Blake Monroe has a microphone. First of all, she calls out Booker T for messing her name up last week and says that if you mess up my name again, like I'll have to kick your ass, essentially. And Booker started talking, and Vic and Corey had to shush him up, but he was a little shook here. I think he was worried that Blake Monroe was gonna hit him with her shoe or something. Blake proceeds to expose Jordynne Grace by cutting a scathing promo. She says that she's seen protein shakes with more personality than Jordynne Grace, and says that Jordynne is just a background player or an extra, if you will, as the Titantron shows a picture of when Jordynne Grace was in fact an extra, a jobber cop here in a WWE show, and then says that you can't have a champion like that. You need someone that looks like me, not someone that looks like this, and then shows an old photo of Jordynne Grace when she was a lot bigger from many, many years ago, before kind of her extreme transformation, getting super jacked, and starts to make fun and belittle Jordynne Grace here and says that I am what a real superstar looks like. And Jordynne, I don't care that you can bench 300 pounds. You can't carry this women's division. When she's interrupted by Lola Vice, who says, do us a favor and shut up. I think that's what she said in Spanish there. She says that you think you're a star and making fun of people, but it's all about making a name for yourself. It's all about star power. Well, try traveling the world, or try being in Evolution with Nikki Bella. And I went, oh yeah, she was
making a viral video.
Yeah, viral moment in history. This is when Jaida Parker comes out and says, oh, I don't want to hear you talk. I don't need a Bella twin, or I don't need a betrayal. I'm Jaida Parker, and I'm chasing that title. When Jordynne Grace's music hits, but it's not Jordynne Grace. It's Kalani Jordynne, who says, not the Jordynne you were looking for. Expect the unexpected. And then challenges Blake Monroe to a match. And Blake kind of, says, oh, you guys are kind of nothing. And this match is announced next week. Blake Monroe taking on Kalani Jordynne. But talking about exposing someone, I think this promo exposed just what they have with Blake Monroe here. Did they just sign her and then, quick, what do we do with you? Okay, bring you in. Okay, now what? Turn you heel. Okay, now what? Okay, go cut a promo on Jordynne Grace from like 10 years ago. This was, yikes. This was not it for me. I am a huge fan. Mariah May definitely had one hell of a year even in AEW. And I know this is just like early stages, but what the hell was this? I did not like this. I hated this. This felt really messy. This felt Bush League with her throwing to pictures on the Titantron of like Jordynne doesn't even look like this anymore. Like, I just thought it was pretty bizarre, and I expected a whole lot more from Blake.
This was terrible. I will say, like, there is some irony in like saying Grace doesn't have much of a personality when her character right now is that she's a heel. That's her character. And
I'm mean.
Yeah.
That's her character. Yeah.
I thought that, the knocks on Grace were a little bad. I mean, they were in poor taste. A lot of it reminded me of like the Piggy James stuff from like 2009, and it's like 2025 now, so it also just doesn't make sense making fun of how someone looked years ago and saying that's why they're not championship material now. It just like if you made fun of how I looked 5 years ago, I'd be like, well, why? Let's talk about now. Let's focus on the now right now. I mean, what does that have to do with me now? So that made no sense to me. And then after what was a pretty poor heel promo, we just got a generic everybody calling their shot segment, which I mean, we saw that like a few weeks ago.
Yeah, we see it like every other week on NXT. Yeah, it's the laziest booking.
After a really lackluster promo, it just kind of felt like we were going through the motions in this segment. So I didn't like this at all. If I guess this shows that Monroe's in NXT for a reason, to get some promo work done. How much of this you can put on her, I'm not really sure, because a lot of this is just creative, having no direction.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like, I just feel like we brought her in and they rushed it just to have that like moment, that like shock value before one of the pay-per-views recently. And then they have her attacked by the heels. And then in the match, she then turns on the person facing the people that beat her up. So that already it's like super
and
messy.
Her alliance
and
with Grace was so short-lived that there wasn't really any emotion behind it. It was just like, oh, okay, yeah. I guess you don't like Grace now. Like, cool.
Like you went to the nail salon once, which also was an abysmal like segment a few weeks ago. So like, so far the Blake Monroe thing is just not working. And again, I know it will work out eventually. I think she's super talented, but if this is the creative they had for her, like, this is lazy. This is so bad.
And I guess the thing that bothers me is that if you want to sort of cross the line in terms of like offensive things, you could make an argument that you should probably do it in a more nuanced way, where you could argue that they went after Jordynne Grace's looks here, but also did it in a way that just had no nuance. Like, it made no sense when you think about it. Like, you're making fun of how someone looked years ago. Like, that's not even like relevant. Like,
this was bad. This is like, it wasn't even relevant to what the story. What even is this story? Like, why are you going after her anyways? Like, the other group of people
she's not even the champion,
and the champion is the one who attacked you. So like, this is so backwards. I can't even attempt to think of how to defend any of this. Like, super bad.
I guess if there's a caveat to this, it's that all of this is leading to whatever the eventual title program for Monroe is going to be. So you can kind of forget this mess in a few weeks once.
Again, I don't think this is like, it's so early with Mariah May here, Blake Monroe. Like, we're not just writing her off, because I think when she finds her way, like, it will work and she should be a big star in WWE. But I also think the same thing with Jordynne Grace. And I think since coming in, they've maybe moved her down the card with your Stephanies, your Julias, and now Blake. And I don't know, JC is the champion and attacked Blake, but Blake turns heel on Jordynne Grace, and then a week later calls her fat. It's like, what the fuck is going on? Who wrote this?
All of this is horrible, but it is NXT. Like, this isn't going to be like, they had a bad few first months in NXT, so their WWE runs are over. Like, think of how many people had some horrible work in NXT, but just sort of turned it around and kept going. I mean, this is not to write off anyone. It just kind of really sucks right now.
It's funny because I bring up, someone in the chat's bringing up Toni Storm told Mariah she would be forgettable. Yes, we've referenced the promos from that feud where you will go on to mediocrity, and it's like, so far, first few attempts here on this Blake Monroe character, and I don't think it's working. We gotta
2 thumbs down.
We gotta do, yeah. It should totally work. Like, look at her, like, she should be on top, sure, but it's just this was,
and just everyone else here kind of felt so forgettable in the segment. Like, each person got one line in, and the lines weren't really even related to each other. Like, it was just like it was like, okay, Monroe, that's cool, but let me talk about myself for a second.
And like the story, Blake is saying, I've wanted to be a star forever, right? It's showing the clips of like her, like, as a fan, like, oh, I wanted to be in WWE because I knew I was destined to be a star, and like I have star power and all this and all that. But like, really, you're not even going after the champion. The champion attacked you. I don't. Weird. It's just something that you just figured would work. Bringing her in like right away. It's like, all right, sick. You're gonna just go out there and kill it, but it maybe isn't hitting the way people are thinking.
The issue is they're having her tread water right now because she's a heel and the champion is a heel. So it would just be weird to have them go against
like, how great would it have been if Jordynne beat JC and then like Blake is like, oh, look, you beat JC. Yeah, fuck Fatal Influence. They attacked me. And then, like, I don't know, a week later, when JC and Fatal are gone, then you have Blake chasing after Jordynne and takes it from her. Or you have Jordynne chasing her for the title. But instead, this is not for the title. This is just a whole other, like, Blake just hates her because she's fat or was fat like 10 years ago. It's like, what? Imagine this was the feud of, like, you know, like John Cena or Cody Rhodes. Yeah, you used to be fat. So I hate
but we needed NXT TNA double champs. So just throw all this away.
I told you, NXT like does not make sense to me in the last little while. Like, I know it still has some good stuff week to week, but no one can tell me with a straight face, eye to eye, that NXT makes any sense in the last little while, because I don't think they know what they're doing. Like, did you come up with this segment like mere minutes before? No, because you had graphics and pictures and old digging of Jordynne as a security guard. I'm going off on this way too much, but it was genuinely awful. So I hope they can fix this, because it should work. But holy shit, where are we even going with this? Like, Jaida now, Jordynne, Lola, Jordynne Grace, Blake, like, where is this? All not for the title, by the way. So really weird. Anyways.
Yeah, not good.
What did Kalani say? Expect the unexpected. That's what I do watching NXT week to week. So next week, Kalani Jordynne versus Blake Monroe, and I expect Jordynne Grace to
just forget about the other two in this segment.
Weird. Anyways, we go from that to the culling backstage.
I love this, by the way.
You love the culling?
Awesome. No, this segment.
Oh, this segment. Okay. The culling are backstage with Tatum Paxley, and they say, Tatum, congratulations. You have proved that you are an asset to this group. So therefore, we've done something for you. Next week, you have a title shot against Sol Ruca for the women's North American title, and we will all be in your corner.
No, you missed the best part of this segment. That before that, Tatum Paxley was talking to Izzy Dame, and she went, I had such a great match last week. I think I should challenge Sol Ruca. And Izzy Dame went, no, I think you're getting a bit ahead of yourself. And then Sean Spears walks in and goes, guess what? We got you the title match. So it was just like,
Izzy upset at her now then? Like, you got a title shot? Like, Izzy was chasing for that title just recently. So,
I mean, that's the interesting thing to watch here.
I wouldn't use that.
I just thought the comedic timing of it was really good.
Do not use the word interesting with the group, the culling.
You know what? Maybe this is my hot take for the episode, but I actually
you love the culling.
Yeah.
Yo, go off. What do you like about the culling? You a big Ty Dillinger fan?
I think
Nico Vance does it for you.
I think since they put the focus bigger on Izzy and now Tatum, I think it's become more interesting. Before then, it sucked, but
I'll give you
Izzy,
that. That's true.
Izzy's a great talker. You know, unlike Sean Spears, it seems like they have an actual direction for her.
Right.
And you know, with Tatum Paxley, they actually have something to do with this Tatum character that was just sort of sitting around doing nothing for a long time. And it's interesting to have this sort of baby face in the faction that's just misguided. And you get to see that long-term arc of her either going deeper into the heel side or working her way out. So, you know, there's interesting stuff here. I also think their entrance is pretty cool.
Oh, I can't stand that intro.
Except for I don't really know what the thing he says at the start. I don't know what that means. Like, the
truth will set you free, but ultimately it will fucking stupid. What got a laugh out of me though was as the like family of the culling walk away, because they're all happy that Tatum's happy she got her match, and they walk off. The camera pans to Luca Crucifino, who says, "No family lasts forever." Oh,
I
poor
had
guy.
a family once.
I had a family like that once. I don't anymore. Oh man, All good things come to an end, Luca. We go Lash Legend backstage. She's about to make her entrance through Gorilla. She says that she's the most dominant superstar in NXT and Evolution. I proved that, and tonight I'm going to prove it again against Fallon Henley, which leads us to this match. Lash Legend, Fallon Henley with Fatal Influence by her side. Lash is beating down on Fallon here. She's throwing her around. She gets on top of her at one point, mocking the cowgirl, starts doing a little rodeo here, a little Oppa Gundam style. This is when Joe Hendry's face appears on the screen at one point here. No mention by commentary, but I guess he's making a return.
They did it 3 times on the show,
yeah.
So I guess they're teasing something. I mean, I guess they're teasing Joe Hendry, which cool.
But no one said his name. So
No.
you can't appear
You can
if
appear.
no one says your name. But it's like Beetlejuice. If it appears 3 times or something, I don't know. Lash Legend does the like double rope smash and then turns it into a huge backbreaker. I thought finally that move made some sense here. Fallon kicks out and then comes back. She's up top with a blockbuster for a near fall. And then Fallon with a beautiful Lucha-esque, Rey Mysterio-esque, if I may. Fallon with a flying bulldog, which was very nice. Like the way she countered into twist into like the wheelbarrow into it, very Trish Stratus, Rey Mysterio-esque. Goes for the Famouser, but it's blocked. And then JC's up on the apron, so Lash drops her, and Lash is now on the outside when Lash Legend is attacked by Nia Jax. That's right. I don't know how many times Nia Jax ever got a holy shit chant, but she did here in the Performance Center. And then she rolls Lash in the ring. The ref doesn't see it. Fallon is able to hit the Famouser for the 1-2-3. And Fallon Henley pins Lash Legend. And after the match, Nia Jax gets in the ring, attacks Lash, and hits her with the squash, the bonsai drop in the corner and says, "Oh, you want to make a name off me, huh? I don't think so." So Lash Legend, Nia Jax feud in the mix for NXT.
You know, this is such like a low stakes mid card rivalry, but I do have to say that I enjoyed this match. I really like Lash, you know, sort of working the style of just having the size advantage over everyone she faces. That's really fun. And, you know, I was surprised to see Nia here. So that was a fun surprise.
Like, I think Nia, since coming back, has had some better. I think her career is almost better on her second half. You know, I'm still not a huge fan. I think one of my least favorite wrestlers, to be fair, is Nia Jax, but she at least has like made her like the reason why she's here is important. Like she helps put over a lot of other people. She is, you know, she looks like she's lost actually some weight, but she still is like the Lady Kane, if you will. I'm not talking about the shiny wizard lady, but like she's like a Kane where like you need like that like big monster for your baby face to like conquer and get that big like triumphant win over someone who's a bit bigger and more powerful kind of thing. So it does kind of work with Nia. You need someone like that in your division. So as much as I don't like her and I kind of groaned seeing her, it was cool seeing her get a crowd reaction. Jumping ahead, she's going to cut a quick promo, basically calling out Lash again. I'm not sure if it's made official for next Tuesday, but we are going to get Lash Legend Nia Jax. And I think that's a great way if you're trying to integrate Lash maybe into the main roster, which they were teasing a little bit. I think that would be the right way to do it with a main roster talent to help get her over. So
it was either this or Nia faced Tiffany Stratton on SmackDown for the 8th time. So I prefer this.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I really don't like Nia. And I'm looking at the positives. Hey, if this can help make Lash Legend, then sure. But it means I got to watch Nia Jax on NXT again, which
I like having Lash Legend in an actual storyline. I'm a big Lash Legend fan, so
yeah, that's fair. Like I think there's something there with her. You know, it was a bumpy road here in NXT, but she's totally improved. So I think this is in a right direction for her. But also low key happy about Fallon Henley getting a win here because I also love Fallon, and I don't know where we go with her again. If we do bring Fatal Influence to the main roster, it could work. But I've always had a soft spot for Fallon and her getting a win finally here. I would like her to face JC for the title down the line. If we could go that.
Yeah, not against that.
That'd be pretty good. But yes, Nia Jax Lash Legend coming soon. We go backstage. All the wrestlers are sitting around when we see Briggs talking with Stacks, and Briggs sounds really upset about what happened with him losing last week and how he didn't win the NXT title. And this is when Stacks is like, oh yeah, you failed, but friendships don't last forever. And then Inamura comes in here and he yells at Briggs like, yo, what the hell are you doing? You don't have honor. And Briggs gets pulled apart and he leaves. And then he looks at Stacks and Stacks is like, you didn't win it. So Inamura slaps Stacks and says, you don't have any honor either. Next week, I'll show you honor. So next week on Ring of Honor, Stacks versus Yoshiki Inamura. I imagine this match is announced for next week. Stacks and Inamura on NXT. Code of Honor match, hopefully.
It didn't get formally announced, but he said next week in the clip, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. But I'm not holding my breath. I mean, this can happen whenever it wants to, I guess.
Put the Heritage Cup on the line, Stacks. Do the right thing.
And uphold the Code of Honor.
Yeah, show him honor, Inamura. We go to our next match. Javon Evans taking on Wes Lee with High Rise. Before Wes can even get into the ring, Evans jumps the bell, jumps over the top rope with a tope, landing on top of him, and then beats down on Wes when the match starts. In the ring, Javon flies back in with a clothesline, and then High Rise start to get in his face. So then Wes sends him to the outside and hits a tope of his own, almost just completely missing him, but does make it at the very end here. Room for error. Not much. When we come back from a commercial break, Wes is still in control here, beating down on him. Evans comes back with this nasty looking snap German for a near fall. There's then the flippy kick. I don't think we've got a name for this, but that boy is bouncy kick, similar to the cardiac kick that Wes does, actually.
Similar to what Ospreay used to do.
Yeah. Not the Robinson special. What is he? He just
cheeky
a flipping
Nando stick.
The cheeky Nando's when the guy is like upside down in the corner. So I don't know what this one.
I was searching for the name for this one last night and couldn't find it.
He needs one, so he'll think of it. Wes comes back though with a really nice looking brain buster for a 2 count. The crowd are really waking up here. Javon somehow sets Wes up in the corner and goes to the other corner. Shout out RVD. Yeah, shout out RVD. Shout out Shane McMahon. But Javon Evans does a coast to coast, but he does a flip in the thing,
like
so
a swan pond.
Yeah, it's like flipping so that his feet like almost drop kick Wes in the face. Very impressive here from Javon. Holy shit. The crowd are going nuts. Wes somehow kicks out of this and then goes to the outside. So Evans does a tope onto all of High Rise. He gets back in the ring, but he's met with the cardiac kick. 1, 2. Javon kicks out. The PC are going mental. And this is when Javon somehow hits a cutter out of nowhere and then goes up top for, is it the UFO cutter? The triple jump. This guy, I know his gimmick is he's bouncy, but he was flying. He was so high up in the air for this cutter. If you have to watch anything, just look up the gif of this cutter. It is insane. He hits it on Wes, and 1, 2, 3. Javon Evans pins Wes Lee in easily the match of the night on this show. Wow. Great stuff from these two.
Yeah, awesome match. I think what's great about Evans to me is that he has shown that he has this just insane ability when it comes to moves and high flying, but he still in these matches will put something together that wows you, like that coast to coast he hit. I mean, every once in a while he just still does something that sort of shocks you, like he did with that. I really enjoyed this match. I think both these guys are great. It's hard to not be high on Evans, and it's hard not to be high on Evans when you consider that he still has so much room to improve, and like he's so young, and like there's no reason to rush him at all. I thought this was a really solid way to put Evans over.
Yeah, easily highlight of this episode for me too. Like easily. Great wrestling from these two. Wes obviously being an NXT staple for a while. He doesn't even need to be in NXT. Like this guy could have easily been on main roster years ago, but him tying up with Javon is always like, we've seen them wrestle a few times before in NXT, but he is fantastic. Like Javon is so good. He has to be the guy to beat Oba. I think like he should be the one to finally conquer that Goliath, and being at such a young age, like 21 or something, is absolutely mental. But like we've seen people do that triple jump cutter. I think it's not Wes, his former Rascal mate, Zachary Wentz, who does one similar. And this one's even, I don't know how he gets that high up in the air, and that coast to coast as well. So yeah, Javon is definitely the guy to watch. And with the recent TNA stuff, whether they tease or toy with Trick going for that title, I did check out Slammiversary, and who's that guy, the X Division champion, Leon Slater? He's 20 years old, and he has got the X Division. So like, if you were to do Javon Leon Slater, that would be crazy. Javon could win the X Division title, use option C, and challenge Trick for the TNA title. I think that's maybe the road we could go to, maybe. Possibly,
I guess. I mean, you do have to be careful with the story they're doing right now. Is that the heels are taking the TNA belts?
Yeah.
So it would be a little awkward to have a babyface do that same thing at the same time. I do hope something big is coming for him. I thought it was interesting that this was the second night in a row on WWE TV that we got a coast to coast, because I forget who, but someone hit it during a tag match on Raw last night too. Not as spectacular as the one that Evans hit, but I mean, any coast to coast is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I see. I have some of the chat torn here. I see Chris in the chat saying that's a great idea having Javon go for that title, but Megan saying no, Santana, clearly the end game for the TNA title. Which, if it was, I think he would have won back at Slammiversary with their biggest audience. But I mean, you could still go in that direction. But I don't know. TNA are just cool with the titles being lended out. I just want to see Javon versus Leon Slater. That would be awesome. But I do think the end game of NXT is to crown Javon as NXT champion, hopefully in 2025.
What's great about Javon versus Leon is that you can do that in like 5 years, 10 years. You know, like
sure.
You don't need to do it soon. Like these guys are going to be great for a while.
Yeah, yeah. Well, this was definitely the highlight of my show. Like seeing these two go out. Wes and Javon could be wrestling on WWE main roster TV with stuff like that. Just always impressive whenever I see Javon wrestle. We see though after this match, Trick Williams standing out there, and he's holding up the TNA title. We see Obafemi on the perch holding up the NXT title, and Javon's pointing at you. He's pointing at the Spider-Man. Who. So that's what I mean. Are we going towards another triple threat? There's a potential. Like that's what they're kind of teasing here. We've already had it, and I don't necessarily think we should go to it again, but that's what I got out of this segment.
I hope not.
Yeah, it was a good match when they did it. It's just like, would you go back to it? I don't know. We get an NXT Focus, a sit-down interview. Vic Joseph interviewing Miles Bourne. We get a bit of backstory from Miles. He mentions at a young age, like a baby, being flatlined twice, being rushed by Emerge to see if they could save his life, and he almost didn't make it. He was on a ventilator, and to keep his heart pumping, and that ventilator had radiation, and it saved my life, but it took 90% of hearing out of both ears. And ever since I was a young kid, I had to learn how to read lips. He's talking about how he had to, learn that at a young age. It was really difficult from his parents and everyone in public, but it kept on going. He does his classic, "Oh, Vic, what did you just say?" "I'm just kidding. I'm deaf." He does this. He does this every week now, but it seems to be his catchphrase. "What did you just say?" He says, "Just kidding." But he says that my story is a good lesson that you got to keep moving forward with your life every day. And that's what I do. And Vic says, "Well, what about people like Lexis King?" He's like, "I don't worry about people like him. And if he continues to have issues with me, then I'll have to sort that out," which we'll get there, because it cuts from that to Lexis King watching this in Ava's office and says that guy's not even deaf. He's a phony. And if he's deaf, I'm blind as a bat. Ava is like, "Yo, bro, that's kind of offensive," I think. She didn't say that, but I think that's what we were thinking. She says that, "Lexis, next week you're in a match, and so is Miles, because you two are facing each other." And Lexis says that, "I'll prove he's a fraud in and outside the ring."
I'm always a fan of Miles Bourne. His story's great. It's hard not to root for a guy like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I thought King had a unintentionally, well, I guess intentionally hilarious line saying, "If Miles was deaf, how could he wrestle?" Which is like, I don't know. I could imagine that working. I mean,
well, just like Stephanie Vicaire once said, or a few times, that wrestling is her first language. Miles Bourne, wrestling is his first
we've
language.
seen people with even bigger roadblocks be able to wrestle. So
yeah.
I just thought that was a funny line.
I'm I think we're gonna have this feud ongoing, which is like I'm so over Lexus King. I think they did the best they could with him, but I can't say it's kind of go away heat where I'm like, okay, it's like mid card fodder kind of thing. Like, bless him, but I think Miles Bourne can be maybe doing something better. But we'll see. It's a funny story, I guess. Calling someone a liar. You're not actually deaf. You're lying.
It is a little on the silly side. Yeah. But I mean, I guess that's just them being careful with like not being too offensive with talking about someone's like real disability.
Yeah, so. Like it could be more offensive. Like we had Blake Monroe basically saying, "Hey, Jordynne Grace, you used to be fat," and then in this one, "Hey, you're deaf, but are you really?" Wrestling's weird. Silly. NXT.
I think he does kind of have go away heat with me too. I mean, I'm interested to see this because of Miles Bourne. I like him. But yeah, Lexus King, his theme annoys me. I hate that. My way, my life.
My life. Yeah, it's not great. It's better than the culling. I don't know what you're on. It's better than life is life. I don't even know what they're saying.
Listen, man, I'll get that tattooed on me.
The truth will set you free, but ultimately it sucks. Something like that. We have announcements for next week. Blake versus Kalani, Ruka versus Tatum, Chase U versus Hank and Tank, and maybe more to come. We have Fatal Influence leaving the arena in the parking lot when Nia Jax just steals the cameraman from them and basically calls out Lash Legend and says, "Girl, you don't measure up to me." So it looks like whether this match is officially announced next week, I'm not quite sure at this moment, but presume we see Nia Jax versus Lash Legend very, very soon.
The most civil NXT parking lot exchange I've ever seen.
I mean, would you, if you were like in a parking lot attacker, would you attack Nia Jax? Probably not. Like,
but I would have thought that Fatal Influence would have just like instinctively seen someone charging in and just go, "Oh, we gotta defend ourselves here."
Like Nia Jax, NXT, you know, she's been here. She's been around the block in NXT in Florida. She knows about the parking lot, so
she doesn't have to check in.
We haven't had a parking lot attack in NXT in a while, actually.
They should have like a board, like how many days since an accident.
I bet they do inside the gym there. Yeah. We go to our main event of the evening on NXT TV in 2025. Santino Marella taking on Ethan Page for the North American Championship, the newly crowned Canadian North American Championship. Ethan Page taking some pages out of Lance Storm or Bret Hart book, perhaps here. I liked how Santino, the Director of Authority, hasn't wrestled in a WWE ring since June of 2014. They tell us here,
unless you count his Rumble appearance as Santina in 2020.
Oh,
which
well, that wasn't him. That wasn't him.
Well, it's not canon.
Santina. Yeah. It's not canon, and it still wasn't good.
No, they brought back literally like the worst women's moment in WrestleMania history as like some nostalgia and not, but whatever.
It was not good. Santino Marella being billed from Mississauga, Ontario, Canada. That's right. We're having the Battle of Ontario here. Mississauga versus Hamilton. Wow. What's a better town in your opinion? You're from Toronto. What's the better city here? Hamilton or Mississauga? I really don't like either place, to be fair.
I like Mississauga. I've never been to Hamilton, so I can't.
What? Oh, man, you're missing out on a lot.
I went to Mississauga for a TNA event once. It was a good time.
Was this recently?
This was like a couple years ago. It was at Santino's Battle Arts.
Oh, Destiny, like that. Yeah, Battle Arts Academy. Yeah, for anyone, Santino runs like his own like gym here. Whenever wrestlers come, they tend to like go and train there. But then Destiny does shows there and stuff as well. I just hate the
nice
venue.
Little TV ready studio.
They have a TV ready studio, but it's like literally in the middle of nowhere. It's like near like factory stuff. It's like there's nowhere to go near there. So I always say I'm downtown Toronto, so it's a bit of a pain to go like check it out. But it is cool.
When I covered a TNA event for Post there, and the way I covered it was I sat in the crowd with a notepad and I wrote everything about the matches. And then on the TTC subway back, I took my notepad and I took out my laptop and I typed everything down that I wrote. and then when I got to my station, I hot spotted my document to John to post it.
Oh my god! Wow, the dedication. That's too much dedication for TNA, dude. That's
It was a fun experience, though. It would have been fun if I missed the last train and then would have had to, like, I don't know, call for help.
Well, Mississauga, known for the Battle Arts Training Academy. Mississauga, also known for Square One Shopping Center. Party Next Door, right?
Right.
Party Next Door is the name of the rapper, is because he's from Mississauga, and some say the Party Next Door is Mississauga. It's not, because it's Mississauga.
If I was invited to a party in Mississauga, I'm not going.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't go either. But Hamilton, though. Hamilton. The great battle of Ontario here. Hamilton and Saga City. We start off with some chain wrestling attempts from Santino. I thought this was pretty fun. Santino's trying to get the best of Ethan Page with certain roll-ups and chain wrestling, but Page is having none of that. He starts to bully him, and then a big boot to the face. Booker T says, Santino's the director of authority. Why didn't he book someone else in TNA to have this match? And Vic Josephs clapped back at him saying, yeah, well, you did the same thing in Reality of Wrestling. So Booker T got real quiet real quickly. This is when, Corey Graves and Vic Joseph just start having like a pun off of Bobby Brown New Edition jokes here. Like they were going off about all these different things. I don't know. Shout out New Edition.
What I love about the NXT commentary, and this happens like every week, is that right after that jab at Booker T happened, you saw like a shot where in the background you could see them, and they were all laughing at this. Like they clearly have so much fun there, which is great.
Yeah, Booker T and Vic's like they just like roasting each other, and I think Corey slid in there. Like he can dish it and he can take it as well, but they can stand the rain, I guess. That was a New Edition joke there. Jack, look that song up. I know you're young, but New Edition was pretty good. We get the twisted grin countered into a stunner, sort of. That was Corey Graves' call. It was sort of a stunner. I agree. There's the running salute headbutt from Santino. He's doing all the hits here. Eventually, though, Ethan drops him and then goes up top for a splash? Question mark. The knees are up from Santino, and then the crowd start to chant, they want the Cobra. He hits a hip toss, or as Booker called it, a hip lock, and then a like slingshot plancha to the outside from Santino. Very nice here. Yeah. Eventually, the Cobra is brought out. The Performance Center are going nuts, but Ethan pulls the ref in between him and Santino, and when the ref can't see, he pokes Santino in the eye and hits the twist of fate. The twisted grin pins Santino to retain the Canadian North American Championship.
Yeah, this was this was an okay match. I liked the wrestling in the lead up to the finish. I thought the finish was kind of lame, and it kind of ended the show on a bit of a dull note. But it wasn't terrible.
Yeah. I didn't love it, to be honest. I thought it was cool, see the nostalgia of Santino and everything, but like Santino is in the Ontario scene a lot. Like obviously he is in Mississauga, so we do see him quite often in any wrestling show you go to in this area. And he's still doing that shtick. So it necessarily wasn't like, oh wow, I haven't seen this in a while for me personally, because I definitely have seen this Cobra spot quite often. But I think for an NXT TV match, it's fine enough. Like got to hear his WWE theme and everything.
I guess it was, to me, it was just the fact that this is what ended the show. Like this was the way you go off air. Well, there's something after, but this was the final match of the show. And the match just kind of had like it was almost like this match was made simply just to pay off something that they built and had to pay off. Like it was just like, okay, we had this cool interaction with Ethan and Santino. Okay, here's the way to write it off, whatever.
Yeah.
Like there was, if they swapped this and put something else in the main event, like maybe the Wes Lee Javon Evans match, because that's more in the title picture, I think that would be great. But at the same time, I guess Marella is the biggest name on this show, so you want to have him end it. But I don't know. I wasn't huge on it.
Yeah, it didn't do a whole lot for me either. I was expecting just a bit more fun, but I guess it is what it is. You know, I'm really enjoying the Ethan, especially the Ethan Page stuff last week. So it's still off to like a good start. It's just like looking at the graphic before putting on NXT, it was like Santino Marella in the main event. I'm like, oh man. I said, NXT has an identity crisis for sure, right?
I haven't looked up if this match has happened before, but like during a certain point in time on the indies, this would have been like the Ontario wrestling match to make, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure they have, but I could be wrong. Well, NXT goes off the air, or so we think, as it cuts to the Italian restaurant somewhere in Orlando as Tony D'Angelo sits down at a dinner table. He's handed a glass of wine and he goes, "Here you go, Don." And he says, No, I'm not the Don anymore. Tony D is just fine. And then he untucks his napkin, getting ready to eat or drink his wine. When he looks over to his side, we see someone is there, a figure, we're not sure, as the shadow casts over Tony's face as NXT cuts away and goes off the air. A bit of a MCU NXT cinematic universe post-credit scene here with someone approaching Tony D'Angelo. Who could it be?
Yeah, I'm happy I stayed tuned into NXT because I instinctively clicked off because I was writing the results for post. I clicked off after the match, and then there was a voice just being like, maybe you should just see if there's something in those final 20 seconds.
Yes, always watch after the show ends.
You know, the family stuff has been so whatever for me for the longest time, and because of that, I'm not like incredibly interested to see what happens here. But at the same time, like, maybe they can do something interesting, you know?
Like, who is it? Is it Luca? Is it Stax? Is it?
If it's one of them, it's just like,
it can't be. Like, yeah, like it can't be. So is it Nunzio? Is it Big Vito? Is it the FBI? Like, what?
But is it? Part of me just wonders, like, are we just gonna? These three guys are just gonna keep feuding with each other until the end of time? Like, when are you just gonna make one of these people move on? Like, we've been doing this since Mania.
Yeah, I am so over this. Like, I've been saying it, like, being it over the head, you know, deja vu here. But the character of Tony D could work on the main roster. I say could. It should. It could work on the main roster. You just got to try it at this point. Like, he's run its course in NXT. The Italian family mobster stuff has run its course in NXT. But I think if you were to try with a fresh coat of paint on main roster, maybe that goes somewhere. Maybe it's Adam Pearce who is in his restaurant. Maybe it's
worried that it might be a Tyler Breeze thing where it works really well in NXT, and then when you bring it up to the main roster, it just doesn't really resonate. But
you have to, like, he's been down here for so long now that, like,
you're right.
You might as well. But, you know, other people who were in NXT around the same time, like Carmelo, he's not doing anything on the main roster. So it's like, I'm not saying this is Carmelo Hayes, like, talking to him, but, like, what the hell else could it be other than this guy's got to leave NXT? And if we're going now in a direction of someone else is joining, is there another Italian that's going to be forming a new family? Like, oh my God, the lore and story of the family stuff on NXT just continues to go on for reasons unknown. But
it would be funny if that was Carmelo Hayes and he was approaching him to go, listen, you don't want to go up to the main roster right now.
So, okay, someone in the chat, Chris Jones in the chat, saying, if you've never seen The Sopranos like I haven't, this would have made no sense. Okay, wait, were they trying to do a Sopranos ending? No, because they didn't have the Journey playing. That would have been Don't Stop Believing. Okay, I'm not giving away anything. The Sopranos ended a long time, but the way the series ends is it just fades to black. He, like, looks. So is that what they were trying to do here? They did an awful job of trying to replicate that, if so. But it looked to me like he's going to talk to someone, unless
this has to have
the write-off. This could be their lazy attempt at the Sopranos write-off, but no, I know what the end of the Sopranos is. It's just this didn't look like it, and didn't have the Journey. You could have easily played the knockoff Journey to really hit it over the head, but really bizarre episode of NXT, as it usually is every week. But at least there was some positives. Again, Wes and Javon Evans really had a great match. The rest of the stuff, not the low point for me was that Blake Monroe promo, I think. And,
you know,
and Santino, I don't know, like, maybe you could have put in other people, and
the main event was underwhelming. I did enjoy the segments involving Fatal Influence this week. You know, none of it was changing the world, but it was just fun stuff and fun mid-card stuff that actually gets other Fatal Influence members doing something as opposed to just cornering JC Jane, which is really kind of what they've been doing for the longest time.
Yeah. NXT for me is like you said earlier, like when you watch, you feel like sometimes they're throwing stuff to see what sticks. And I do genuinely feel that's the case for majority of every episode. Is like, what are they even, do they know where we're going with some of this stuff? I don't know if they do sometimes.
I think I am a little more positive on this episode than you are. I mean, I thought that the Blake Monroe segment was horrible. I thought the main event was underwhelming. But besides that, like everything kind of landed from great to okay. And, stories moved forward on this one. It wasn't a massive episode, but it entertained me for 2 hours. So,
yeah, fair enough. Well, that was NXT. We hope you enjoyed us talking about NXT because that was up next. Let us know in the comments. Agree, disagree. You can follow us at Poisonrana Pod, Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, and Poisonrana.ca, as well as patreon.com/PoisonRana. As I said, Davie and I will return next Tuesday after NXT. We'll definitely talk about some SummerSlam and everything going on. And we'll see, was Tony D'Angelo whacked, as I see in the chat here? They think he was. Maybe that was the end of Tony D in NXT. But Jack, thank you for joining me here today to talk about some NXT. Appreciate your insight and appreciate everything you do at postwrestling.com.
Well, it was great to be here. I love talking with you about some wrestling. I love an excuse to watch some NXT. And talk about NXT. I do find it interesting, even in its low points. They are trying some interesting stuff. So it's a brand I like watching. So thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Where can people find you? Anything else going on with the post wrestling? You're covering the G1 and everything, or anything else?
We're doing lots of new stuff. The post wrestling team, we work really hard on the site here to try to make it a nice balance of all the stories all around the scene, and sometimes in MMA too. If you want to follow me, Jack Wannan, JackWannan. That's my handle on both Twitter and Blue Sky. I'm posting on both of those. And that's generally where I share my work. So if you want to keep up with me, follow me on those platforms, and just follow Post Wrestling, Poison Rana, all those great places.
Excellent. Are you going to come over for SummerSlam? Are we going to watch SummerSlam? You're invited, Jack. You have to work.
I got some. Sorry.
You have to work. You got shoot job.
My shoot job. Yeah, my shoot job's calling me. I got to put someone over on Saturday and Sunday. So.
You're not going to be able to watch Jelly Roll.
You can text me what happens with Jelly Roll, or actually, you know what? I don't want to be spoiled about what the main event of the summer is going to be like.
Get me a Jelly King to watch Jelly Roll.
Yeah, that's a fun idea.
Shout out Toronto Beers. Appreciate you, Jack, and again, appreciate everything you've been doing on Post Wrestling, and you've been killing it. So we'll definitely have to get you on another show down the line. As always, it's been a blast, and appreciate all the listeners out there. We can't do it without the NXT friends, the Postmarks, and the Poison Pals. Appreciate. And again, Poisonrana.ca for all the links of everything else that we do. So we're going to get out of here. That is it. That is all. Take care. Goodbye and be safe. Bye.